All right. And here we go. This one's going to be different. This one was a long time in the making, and I didn't even realize that. And I don't think we ever take a step back to piece together how we get to something. Most of us, it falls in our lap. And when that happens, we are excited. We are happy. If it's positive, but let's focus on the positive right now. We are just like, we finally did it. We figured it out. We pieced it together. It all makes sense. Things are going well. Things are trending in the correct direction. We're being rewarded. People are complimenting us. We're getting praise. We're getting adoration. They're overt changes that we can easily notice in everything that we do. It's evident that it's the correct path, that things are good. People are telling us that an army of positive reinforcement is bombarded wherever we go. So in our mind, in the way we walk, in the way we approach things, well, we just know things changed and we're happy and things are good. Did things actually change? And if so, how did that happen? That's what we're going to talk about today. But we're going to be deconstructing and we're going to be breaking down. I'm going to be doing this all live. I've done some preliminary pieces, an outline for myself, but I'm going to actually do the in-depth analysis live on stream, just so you guys can see my thinking patterns, my thought patterns, the way I approach things, and how I get to the answers that I do. And then each and every one of you, I challenge each and every one of you to stress test everything that I'm saying, and then decide for yourself if you agree with my conclusions or if you disagree. And if so, comment, share your experience, because that's the only way that we can evolve further, by creating something and then reconsuming it and then taking it further. So I'm going to be talking about how they actually prevent change. Because if we talk about how they prevent something, do we understand that if you talk, so many people think that if we talk about the negatives, that we're going to be pessimistic, that we're going to be dark, that we're going to be sad, they're not wrong, because it's something that we call starting a path. When we start a path, we can go down, think of it like there's branches, like a tree branch, and we can go on the wrong branch. And if we just keep going down that branch, we can feel a different way. And I've talked about this in some of my other videos and some of my other streams, but the way we feel is the primary deterrent or cause that determines how we walk. It doesn't determine what changes, but it determines how we walk. And it just makes things either easier or more difficult. For most of us, since we're not used to difficulty, we just stop walking the moment things get challenging. So what does that mean? It means that for most people, if we talk about negative things or prevention or darkness or the problems, things of that nature, well, then they just stop walking, because then it just seems unobtainable. It seems out of reach. It seems so far away. And yet, what if I told you guys that that's one of the ways that they actually stop us from ever even starting the path? It's not the way they actually prevent change, but it's the way they even stop the beginning, the exploration stage. It's how they stop the exploration stage. And I'm going to have to write these down later, but you see, I'm figuring it out. Excuse me. So what ends up happening is we need to begin with an intentional mistake. Why? Because if you don't start by just making an intentional mistake, then you set the storyline, the flag, the goal so far out of reach that if anything occurs that could prevent you from ever getting to that. So for example, if my goal right now, my storyline, my flag post was, I need to be able to, my finger needs to touch the top of the screen. What if I can only get there because something is like, there's a string tied to my arm and it's pulling me down a little bit like this. And I just can't. I'm like, almost, I can't do it. Do you guys see? I can't get there. So what is actually preventing the change? The string, right? Or whatever is tying me down. There's something that's tying me down, right? A chain, something. They put a lock on it. All those things, sure. But you guys see, all they have to do is make sure that my finger doesn't touch the top of the screen. And I will give up. I will think that there's no hope. I will be destroyed. So what I'm doing right now, and I encourage all of you to join me. Not only is this an interrupt, but this is an intentional mistake. Because after all, after this, anything that happens is a victory. Because years ago, even months, like 12 months ago, 15 months ago, I would never have been able to do what I'm about to do on stream, on a video, because I was too worried about things. I was focused on different things that don't matter. Here now I said focus, things, what matters. And I cared about things that I shouldn't have, but I was made to care about them. And then my perception was different because I thought I was causing change when I was doing certain things. And then there's also a progress bait that happened at the same time. And those things were what were preventing me from being able to do what I'm about to do right now. Yet I'm telling you guys that even if everything that I talked about after this is exactly the same, I was so worried about an intentional mistake or a mistake that it prevented things. Do we understand? Yet I'm telling you, like, the info is not going to change. Anything that I'm about to talk about after this point, do you guys understand? Doesn't matter at all if it's like what I'm about to do right now. It has no effect on what the info is going to be. It's going to be the same. Yeah, that's only because I've already defeated that thing. Most of us haven't, because it's the root, right? If you don't understand what the root that actually prevents change or what causes change, you get stopped. And these are all things that I just talked about. But really, it's something that controls us, controls our stories, controls the way we walk. So join me. I'm going to do an interrupt. Here, I have water in this little container. I'm just going to call it a container. And I use it to drink water out of sometimes, just to interrupt, because you guys understand that even just changing the vessel that you use to absorb information or deliver something changes the experience. And that's enough for an interrupt because it changes your focus. So, and changes what you care about. What if I told you guys right now, get some water, something like a glass, a mug, and try to find a way. Exactly. Try to find a way to mess up while you're going to do something, while you're going to drink. All right. So what am I going to do? I'm going to spill on myself intentionally. Ready? You have something? You have a glass of water? Coffee? Whatever? Here we go. Join me. It's intentional mistakes. 3, 2, 1. I can feel the water. I can feel the cold. Now, let's begin. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? What if what I just did right now, is the thing that destroys what's preventing us from causing change? Do you guys understand that if you can make an intentional mistake, now we decide what's a victory. We decide what determines what is change. I challenge all of you to think this one through. What do you consider as change? What do you consider equals change? Did I just change something? Did I just change something? Some of you might say, yeah, you're eating. What if I told you I haven't? I'm still just doing this activity. I'm just piecing something together. I'm explaining how they prevent change. And now we got back to what I wanted to talk about. Do you guys understand that if we focus on what prevents something, that then we can see what enables and allows something? Have you guys ever thought about that? What could prevent me from taking another bite right now from this Star Diplomat Shepherd Star's progress meal? What could? We're not going to get lost there, but you guys understand, like, all of a sudden you're like, well, what if, like, I grabbed your arm? What if, like, you lost your spoon? What if the bowl? Like, are we guys, like, you see, those are things that could prevent it. So then we're like, okay, so then those, we now see what are the things that allow us to take another bite of our meal. Are you guys starting to piece this together? That means that, well, I needed some kind of vessel, a tool that can deliver from A to B something. So in this case, like the spoon or the bowl. I need my arms, but what if I just use my mouth and grab the bite like that? So you see, like, now we start realizing, oh wait, so then we would have to prevent the mouth, we would have to prevent the head, prevent the arms, the hands, take away the tool. Do you guys see that all of a sudden, if you focus on what could prevent an actual change here? What could prevent an actual change here? We start thinking differently, because then we start realizing, wait, what could actually enable and allow it? And a lot of people are afraid of the word enable. And I'm saying it's actually a great word, because we don't realize that there's actually things that are preventing us from doing anything in our life that we want to change. And yet there's a grand storyline that the world is trying to change and modify, but it's prevented from ever doing so. So it's stuck. Yet each and every one of us, we can learn the lessons through our own storyline, and then we can apply it to the greater storyline and understand how they do it to the world as a whole. Because the same things that they do to us, they've done to the world. And that's why everything is enslaved. So I challenge you not to be afraid of this, maybe viewing it in a more negative way. What's preventing things, rather than, well, how can we cause change? Why wouldn't you phrase it like that? How can I cause change? Because that's what we're going to get to. That's what this is. But if you don't understand what they're doing to prevent it, because they're preventing something in every single one of your guys' life, in your stories, and that's how they make sure that you never change. That's why you're not free. But that changes today. So let's begin. Intentional mistakes. Intentional mistake was why I got back to what I forgot what I was going to say. So I covered my first mistake with an intentional mistake, because do you guys understand that that was an execution error? What are execution errors? Execution errors are the least valuable thing in the world. Execution is not valuable. For anyone listening, you need to move away from execution. Why? Because imagine if my entire stream, my entire video, this entire recording, this entire talk was based on that I couldn't forget or lose my train of thought on that one topic, that one thing that I wanted to talk about. An intentional mistake, and then focusing on prevention is actually a good thing, not a negative. What if that was the case? Do you guys understand that all it takes is one interruption that's probably going to happen here shortly? A sound, noise, someone demanding my attention, technical difficulty, and then it's over. Or a negative mental thought, a reminder of something that we consider bad, or maybe even just something good that we consider distracting, like a beautiful girl, a Latina, a smart, gorgeous American girl, anything, right? A European girl. They're all awesome. Oh, look at that. You see, I'm smiling, I'm laughing. Wait, what was I going to talk about? You guys understand? Like, all you have to do is remind someone of that, of any of those things, and you can change their path. You can interrupt their path. You can deviate their path. So That's why we move away from execution. An intentional error or intentional mistake early then lets you determine the success criteria, then lets you determine what you consider a change. I got to this. So you guys might also notice that I'm dressed a little differently than my other streams or videos, and that's intentional because I call it marking the difference. I might not ever wear this outfit again in this setup for a video or stream, but I might also. I don't know. Do you guys understand? This is just a one-time thing, and then I will determine from then henceforth if it's the correct play or not. But why am I doing it? Because today I'm not just shepherding. Today I'm not just healing. Today I'm not attacking. Today I'm figuring something out. I'm deconstructing. I'm deciphering. It's really important. It's a difference. So, how did I get to this? And then we're going to begin. I got to this because I realized that some things were being pushed and some things were being suppressed. Yet, and what do I talk about when it pushed and suppressed? Just think about like any information or anything that you're doing. I'm saying that I'm trying to heal the world. I'm trying to get people to realize what are the actual answers so they can reclaim their freedom, so they can believe again, so they can realize what's bullshit, what's a lie, and what's actually matters. And then they can take back the reins in their own hands and then decide for themselves. If they think that their old storyline was correct, then they can go back and do so. But if not, now that they realize how it happened, now they can be like, wait a minute, I disagree with that path. I shouldn't have cared about that. They made me care about it. Now I get to finally decide for the first time ever in my entire life the path I'm going to walk. And you know what? That's not the path I'm going to walk. I'm going to choose my own path. Okay? So I'm focused on that, which means that I'm creating information, videos, posts, stories, poems, songs, interpretations, whatever you want to call it, lessons, knowledge, guides that tries to bundle those things and put them in a package for people to decipher and to deconstruct that gives them all the answers, yet enough breadcrumbs there so that they still have something to seek, so they still have a journey to go on. It's not easy because you have to remember how you got there. But I'm going to stop there. But you see, like, that's what I do and why I do it. What I ended up realizing is that some of the things that I talk about get pushed, and some of the things that I also discuss get suppressed. It's very obvious because I'm basing it off of results, but I'm basing it off of overt results. And I've defeated that, just so you guys know. It's not easy because there's something in this world that makes us care about those things, right? Impressions, about likes, about, for many of you, it's money, or like, hey, do you get like girl attention, right? Especially right now, since I'm looking to date a girl and build a family, have children again down the road, right? That's something that would be valuable to me. That would be a change metric that I consider important. I'm like, ooh, I'm getting attention. I can, because you guys understand, like, then you can at least talk to her. You can start a conversation, even if nothing happens, but it could start something even then. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? So, like, what are the things that matter to you? What are the things that you care about? What are the things that could indicate progress? What are the things that could make us believe a perception change, a perceived change, that we're making progress, that we're trending in the correct direction, that we should continue what we're doing because it's actually causing change, we're having impact, right? Because I think most of us deep down, it's something that we desire, right? We're looking for that purpose. We're looking for that storyline that we could do that will change something, even if it's just as small as like a 50-person village in Germany called Westheim, and you want to just improve your village there. That's a great thing. Do you guys understand? I'm not talking about like scale. Not everyone needs to change the entire world. If you change your world as that village, that you guys understand how much of an impact you had. But for many of you, that might be what you want to do. You don't know how to put it into words. You don't know how to really piece it together. You can't see it, but that's kind of like what you want to do. You know, like, hey, I want to just help my village, right? So that would be change, but how would you measure that? Do you guys understand? Like, what is it? And for many of us, we get down that path based on what's told to us. I challenge all of you to think about this, but we're going to break this down later. But really, it's just what is told to us. I'm like, well, how do I know that my 50-person village has changed? Think about this one, guys. I ask How would you guys determine, hey, I helped my 50-person village in Germany, my hometown, change for the better? What would you guys use to grade yourself? What would you guys use to determine if you've succeeded in that storyline or not? What is the point where you're like, oh, yep, I did it. I succeeded. At what point? Is it when all the villagers host a celebration in your honor? Is it when they build a statue for you? Is it when you can now like start a business and get rewarded for it? Like, hey, they were like, hey, we want to fund a business for you in this small town, and we want to name it after you. Like maybe the bus system or the train system there that connects the villages. Can we name it after your last name, or can we call it Shepherd Star? Is that change? Sure, your story changed, but did the village? People are like, yeah, of course. Did it really? Did it change for the better? Is that what we care about? For the better? Or do we care about something else? What matters? Wait, the village is going to grow now. It's going to have more attention because maybe we are known, and now there's going to be eyes in the village, and maybe there's going to be other companies that want to show up there, and other people move there, and then is that actually what we want? Does the village have to grow? Now instead of 50 people, we'll get it to 100. It doubled in size. Oh, that was what matters? Is it? Well, no, it's not about that. Then is it? What is it then? Happiness? Is that where our focus is? Should we focus on making sure every villager is happy? That they each have a chicken to raise? That they each have like a farm? They have vegetables and a garden? What? Do you guys understand? Like you can start, you start drawing out the lines. And you like realize, well, what is it that actually indicates the change? What is it that determines if we succeeded? What is it the grade that we're using? So I challenge all of you. Think about like if you were trying to change your hometown, a small farm town in Germany, 50 people live there. You want to change it for the better. I think most of us would do so, right? Because we were happy. We were happy there. It meant a lot from us from our childhood. We just want to improve it. We want to make their lives better. What would you guys consider the change metric? When would you feel accomplished? When would you feel satisfied? When would you feel like you are doing it? Do you need someone else to tell you? Do you need some kind of arbitrary number, a grade? Do you need to see an overt change around you? And then, whatever it is that you answer, why do you consider that as the change? Why do you consider that as what determines if something changed or not? Well, I mean, of course, population and money, because then it gives them opportunities. Okay, so you think it's population and money. All right, that's fine. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not saying that's right. But okay, why do you think that those are things that matter? Why do you care about that? Why is your focus there? Why are those the metrics that determine if something has changed or something's successful and your storyline is going well? How did you get to that? How did you get to that? What if, for myself, I'd be like, actually, I would consider it if all 50 people in that village, for the first time ever, finally understood how the world actually works, can break free to make all of their own decisions, can be healed. So it means that nothing is tormenting them anymore. There's no personal, they don't have to focus on their personal issues because they don't have any. I'm not saying that they won't ever have another conflict again or a misunderstanding. I'm just saying that now they know that all of the things, the negatives that were installed in them throughout their entire life are wrong. They've healed all of them. They now believe in themselves. They know what they're capable of. And if they can't do something yet, they just understand that it's step one in a process, in a journey, and that they're going to make progress and they're going to make a climb and they're going to get there. And now for the first time ever, they can choose the story that they want to write, not the story that was chosen for them. They need to be the farm girl that raises cows and horses. No, they can be, but now they understand how they got there, and now for the first time they can choose. So what will they do now? Will they stay in the village? Will they instead be like, you know what? I want to teach everyone Spanish in this German village because I think it'd be really cool because we're close to Spain. Like, I don't know, right? I'm just showing you guys an example. What if I consider that as what actually matters? Because I have the answers to how to prevent change and what actually causes change. And I'm saying that there's nothing that's more important in this world than just healing and believing again and understanding how everything operates. Because once you do, everything unlocks because you just see through everything. Do you guys understand? You actually see how everything works. You understand the vision, even if you can't execute it yet. But remember what we said, execution is not important. It's about strategy. But when you see the entire strategy, and the only thing I can say is sometimes you don't see it right away, but that means it's just a little bit of a progression climb. You have to try a few things. You modify every time. That's a mistake, quote unquote. You just modify. You're like, okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And you keep seeing the results and you modify. So you can learn extremely quickly. You can evolve very quickly and you can achieve and do anything. And you can figure out anything. It doesn't matter what it is because you understand, you can trace back the source of anything. You understand why the mistake happened. You see it. It doesn't matter what anyone tells you. You can still walk your own path regardless because you see the source of the info. You see the source of what caused it. And you understand the thing before that caused it. So you're like, okay, so someone can say, well, the reason why this stream isn't going to do as well is because you only gave people a 5-minute heads up. I'm like, that's not true. But someone could tell me that and I could get lost there. Do you guys understand? I'm saying that once you get to this point, you can see it. You're like, I know that actually doesn't matter for what I'm trying to accomplish here. Are we starting to piece this together? So do you guys see how what I consider a change, what I consider a success criteria, what I consider a success metric is completely different than the person who said it's about population and money? How is that possible? Let's stop there for a second. How is that possible? Can someone tell me that? How is it that I can think, you guys just heard what I consider would be changing my hometown in this small farm town in Westheim, Germany. That's a success, that's a change. Yet someone else says this. How is that possible? How can that be that we have completely, not even 1% similar success criteria? What we consider a change, what we consider a positive outcome for the storyline, what we consider great, if we had to grade ourselves, what actually matters. How is that possible? Aren't we both humans on this world? How can we have completely different success criteria? How can I view it so differently than that other person? How is that possible? Are you guys starting to see what I'm talking about? Yet, why would I? And people are like, you're weird. That's why. I'm like, okay, that's fine. You can say that. But even hear what you're saying. Aren't you then telling me who I am, what I am? You're making a suggestion. You're judging. You're actually attacking. Why would you have that response? Why would you have that reaction to do that? And why would you do that? Do you guys understand that if your go-to, if someone has a different success criteria and what determines change or is doing something that can cause change, and your go-to is to attack? And I'm not saying presenting information. That's different. That it can be a disagreement. That's different. I'm saying a direct attack. Why would you attack someone if they disagree? Do you guys understand? But I'm saying, okay, let's move from that. Completely different change criteria. Why is it that one person cares about money, one person cares about population, one person cares about the fame of the town? Like, do they have more people are going to visit it and like tourism? And I'm saying it's about people being free, no longer having mental slavery and actual slavery, being able to choose their own storylines, being able to be healed, being able to realize all their fears, insecurities, traumas, all fabricated, and they need to believe in themselves because they're amazing and they have to do their way, not someone else's way. And once they start writing their own stories and they can now evolve and do the things that they care about, that they believe matter, then that is when I succeeded in causing actual change. Because now they can do anything. Doesn't matter if it works out the first time or not, but now they can actually do anything, which means that things can change. Because did the town actually change if now it cares about money, now it cares about population, now it cares about fame, now it cares about tourism, now it cares about having a page in a book being like, hey, in the Germany guidebook, you need to visit West. Like, you could say that, sure, that's a change, but is it? And if so, why do we care about that? Why are we focused on that? Why does that matter? Why? How did we get to that? Why do you care about those things? Whoever's listening right now. Why is that what determines if something has changed or not? So, taking a step back, I got to this because, well, there's nothing that I want more than for change to happen. And for many reasons, some I'm not going to get into just because I don't want to start any personal paths. Because I am going to reconsume this because, after all, this is for myself. And anyone who watches it and anyone who gains knowledge from this and learns from this is going to be valuable for them, but it's also going to be valuable for myself. Just to make sure that if ever too much information gets presented into my head, that I can get back on this path, because this is where I need to be, my own choice. It's been building up for a few weeks now. We've been getting to this. It's a work in progress, and it's still happening. We're still doing it as we speak. So I've been trying to, let's just put it like this. There's something in this world. If you've been following along my posts, my comments, my videos, my streams, you know that I talk about spiritual entities, okay? There's something invisible in this world that controls things, that influences things, that changes things. I'm not going to focus on that more right now, but I just want you guys to know. And they're not all bad. Not at all. But many of the things, most of them are, in my opinion, based on my experiences, not on what people have told me. So what I've noticed is that the main thing that they want is they just want us to do. It doesn't really matter what we want. It matters what they want. Yet they want us to do, okay? So what if you get to a point where you don't do anymore? And people are like, well, aren't you doing? I'm like, not what they want. I'm not creating the storylines that they want. Because think about it like this. If you have skill sets to do anything, but let's say for you who's listening, you have skill sets, you're good at some things. You're really good at some things. I know you are. Each and every one of us is. It was meant to be. We were built that way. You guys understand? We were crafted and molded. I talk about that in one of my other videos on the Star Diplomat on YouTube. Or look me up on LinkedIn. Fabian Chagoya. Star Diplomat, Shepherd Star. I talk about these things, how we're crafted and molded. So it means we get good at something. We get really good at something. What if we don't use that skill set? Or what if we only use part of it? Or if we don't use it for what it could accomplish? Well, don't you think there's going to be something that's going to nudge us along? Be like, hey, well, use it for this, or use it for this, or use it for this. What if you don't do that because you don't believe in those things? Remember what we said. There's the person who believes in population and money, and then there's myself who believes in freedom and being healed. So what if they are trying to get me to use my skill set for freedom and population and like fame and tourism and all that stuff, and I'm trying to use it for this? You see, now there's a conflict. So based on what I'm trying to tell you guys is that they have been trying to identify what are the things that I consider change. Because before, I was satisfied with very little, just to put it bluntly. If anything, you could say I didn't value myself enough, but it really wasn't that. It's just I got what they told me. Listen to what I'm saying. I got what they told me is what matters. Do you guys understand? What is proof of change? What is proof that I'm succeeding in storyline or that I'm accomplishing things or something like that? Yet only part of it was, but I was doing it based on what they told me. So if I got just any of those things presented to me, I'm like, I'm causing change. I believed it. Whether or not I was doesn't matter. Hear what I just said. Whether or not I was doesn't matter. I could have actually been causing change. I could have. Yet I'm saying that doesn't matter because they were presenting to me, this is way in the past, what I believed indicated change. So I was completely under the spell of something that was like, you're doing it. You're causing change. You're succeeding. Keep going. This is the path. You got this. Now, was I? That's a completely different question. That's another topic entirely. But do you guys see what I'm trying to tell you is that they discovered but now I understand why I value those things, why I cared about it. What I considered was the grade, the success criteria, what was my focus, what mattered, what I cared about. They changed my perception. Right? I felt like I was doing change, and they created a progress bait, right? Like an overt success criteria, an overt metric, an overt change, enough overt changes that should indicate that I am causing change. And I'm saying, just because it appears externally like I was I? I'm saying there's a really good chance that I was, and yet I'm telling you that doesn't matter. So there was a lot of things that happened in between that point and this, and all these most recent pushes that I've been doing to try to spread my knowledge. And you guys heard what I care about. I mean, just hear what I said, what I care about, what do I consider change. But you guys see, that's really hard to grade. How do you know when someone's free? How do you know when someone's healed? How do you know when someone can choose to write their own stories and they believe in themselves and now they can accomplish and achieve anything, yet they understand that everything's just a progress journey if they're not there yet? How would you guys grade that? You guys see, it's not simple, especially for something so abstract, so heady, so conceptual. I'm like, hey, do you have $10,000? Then you win. Okay, you guys see, that's really easy to determine if something changed or not. It's binary. It's a check mark or an X. And I'm telling you guys, that's what they do. They try to get us to focus on the check mark or the X, on the metrics, on the numbers, on something overt, something that's very easy to determine if there's a change or not. Because they bait us. I'm not saying that there isn't sometimes change aligned with those things. That's possible. But do you understand that if you can just make it appear like that, then nothing actually has to change? Because you're like, well, there is change. See, we're showing you that you are causing change. I'm like, am I? Do you guys see, like, when I saw that, because the first time it worked on me, then I started realizing that wasn't enough. And I'm going to break down all exactly how they do it. But I realized that wasn't enough. I'm like, I'm not causing change. Not what I consider. And hear what I said. Not what I consider. Other people might be like, holy moly, do you understand what you're doing? You're causing so much change. You're causing so much disruption. You are making waves. Could that be possible? Perhaps. Doesn't matter. Not at all. Not at all. And yet other people might be like, oh yeah, you are. Are you kidding me? You know how many stories you've already impacted, even just around you, your inner circle? Do you know how much change you've caused? I'm like, I don't think I've caused any, because it's not what I consider. Because I know what actually indicates change, not what they told me, not what they crafted me to believe is change, not what they baited me to believe is change. Because unfortunately, each and every single one of us, the reason why nothing actually changes over an extended period of time is because they made us believe that it is, but they're actually actively preventing it. So do you guys understand that if I make you believe that you're succeeding, but I prevent it at the same time, you're going to keep doing it, but you're like, Nothing's changing. Nothing is changing. And this entire time, you know exactly how to prevent it. Right? How can I eat another bite of my meal? You're like, you can't get another bite. You can't get another bite. You can't get another bite. But at the same time, you just hear someone in the background you can't see, but you're like, hold on, guys. Do you guys understand? Like, we hear someone chewing, but we don't see them actually eating. It's an illusion. It's an approximation. They make it appear as there's change, but there's no actual change. And if there is, it's actually for the negative. It's actually making things worse. Because the entire time you are all now focused on, oh, but I hear chewing, there's change. And then in the behind the scenes, they are molding and using their malleable goo to change things. And before you guys know it, all of a sudden, all of our realities are different. All of a sudden, the way things operate, the things that we're told matter, the things that we used to know aren't the way. They don't operate the same way. And we're just like, oh, okay, it's fine. Because you know what? Then the next thing is presented to us and served on a silver platter, like on a tray, like, here you go. This is now what indicates change. This is now what matters. This is now what's important. Take it. And each and every one of you, take it. You grab it. You just drink the mug. You take a bite from the meal that they give you. And you don't question anything. So you all get pulled from one direction to the next direction, to the next storyline, to the next path, the next one matters. Anyone who today, anyone, any company, any person who is even 1% invested or involved in AI, do you guys understand that they did this to you? Each and every one of you. There's no reason why any of you should care about it or consider it as important. How did you get to that? Do you guys understand? Look back a few years ago. It doesn't mean that it didn't. AI existed for years. Do you guys understand? For decades. It's been present in video games and early computer stuff. That's where it really began. It's been around for decades. Yet, why is it that now it's the only thing that matters? None of you even question it. Yet, what if I told you guys that that's the bait? It doesn't even matter at all. You shouldn't even be focused on AI. Yet here, what I'm using as an example of talk, you guys don't even understand? Think about that. That's how lethal what their tactics they use to prevent change is. Because then they just create the storylines that they want. So we're going to take a step back. They made me care about numbers. They made me value, right? Like, I want the girl, I want the kid again, I want pets. So what if I started interacting with girls? What if certain topics and things that I push start getting numbers? Because after all, what indicates change? Isn't it like, hey, if this message, if this guide, if this course, if this lesson, if this discussion gets pushed to 1 million people, doesn't that mean that there's going to be more change than if it gets pushed to 10 people? What if the 10 people that got it were 10, I don't know, I'm just going to use a completely extreme example so you guys get this. Billionaires and people like presidents, people that have excessive power. Yeah, when it got pushed to 1 million people, it was just pushed to like kids who like browse TikTok. 12-year-olds. 1 million 12-year-olds versus 10 like CEOs, powerful people that can make decisions that change entire communities on a whim. Just because we put currently those resources as a way to force change. But anyway, we'll talk about that another time. So couldn't technically there be more change with 10? Yet I think everyone would say, no, there's more possibility. There's more potential with 1 million. They're not wrong. Because possibility and potential leads to opportunities. Each one of those million kids could share it with their parents. Do you guys see what I'm talking about? Like, so on paper, the million has more potential, has more possibility. I'm guarantee you that each and every one of us would normally choose and say, "Oh yeah, if you reach 1 million people, then you're having a huge impact." I was one of them, and that doesn't mean that there's still. When I see that, I'm still like, Yet I realized that it doesn't matter, despite that. Believe me, I'm telling you guys, I still can't believe sometimes that I get to this and say this, because that's when I know I'm on the correct path. It just doesn't matter, which is insane, because all I want is every single person to be free for many reasons. It's not revenge, but it's to create a new world, to finally create a new world that doesn't operate this way, where we all can finally choose, where change can happen, where we're not prevented from changing things for the better. So what if the only things that got pushed to 1 million people were things that talked about money and population growth? And what are the things that, if the only things that get pushed to 10 people were the things that, like the topics I'm discussing today, how they prevent change and how we can actually cause change? What is the root behind everything? Well, if you were a logical person, what would you choose to do again? What would you believe matters then? What would you believe is an opening, is an in to start having more change, regardless if it is or not? Well, I need to talk about money, because that's how I can reach people. That's how I can start the chain reaction, regardless if that's true or not. Do you guys see what I'm trying to show you? Is that if you push something, a specific thing, you can start guiding people's paths. Well, what if you push one thing, yet you create a circle around it that makes sure that that circle, that the information that could cause the change never can leave that circle? So then nothing will happen. Or think of it like you built a wall around it. The circle has walls. So sure, there's information there, but every time it starts, it's going to leave the circle, they crash into the wall, and then the information vanishes. So sure, it got pushed, but it's not going to accomplish anything. Because there's other things that are preventing it. Yet, most of us would then continue to do it. I'm not saying that once in a while you can't. Sure. It's not bad to cause disruption. You can start cracking the wall. Sure. Right? Every wall can fall eventually. It starts with one crack. But think about it. That means that there's measures in place to prevent it. Because ask yourself this, guys. If there's things in this world that control things, why would they ever push something that could cause actual change? Have you guys ever really pieced that together? If they push something, it's because it's aligned with what they want. It's just that simple. Could it cause actually? Could they maybe allow a change to happen there? Sure. then you have to ask yourself, why? Because I'm telling you, and this is how we're going to transition to talking about the levels of life. If I make it appear as a change in thing, or maybe it did, maybe it just changed some things, but they were superficial things. What if right now, guys, I just said, I got up and I took off this jacket, my shepherd jacket, and I put on my shepherd vest or my shepherd coat. Well, I changed something, didn't I? What if, you know what? I don't even have any bracelets on or rubber bands on. Normally I do. It's okay. But what if I got up right now, put one on? I changed something now, didn't I? So I want you guys to think about the bracelets as level 1. I'm going to grab one right now. All right. So I got a rubber band and I got a bracelet. Putting on a bracelet, I'm putting on a rubber band. Okay? Pull back my sleeves. What are these? These are called overt changes. So I want you guys to think about the bracelet and the rubber band and pulling my sleeve back. Those are level 1. What do I call level 1? Something superficial. Think of it as, I call it the force. So it's something that can force something that's a resource, something that creates a requirement. So I think of it like I have to now wear this bracelet every single time I stream or do a video. Right? If I don't, then I'm not going to do a good stream or video. So now, what does that mean? It means that it's something that's being forced. It's something that causes a change. Do you guys understand? Because now I have to wear the bracelet. It creates the requirement. It's a resource. So that means if I don't have the bracelet, then I'm doing something wrong. If I don't have the bracelet, there's something missing. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to tell you? So that's level 1. It's something overt, something visual, something that we can easily notice. So it means that if I don't have the bracelet, well then you're doing something wrong. There's something missing. But what if I don't have it and then I turn on the stream, I do, let's say I take a sip of coffee, I take a sip of water, I take a bite of my Star Diplomat Progress meal, and then I start talking about AI and about money and about growing a business and about charging people for the knowledge that I'm sharing to you guys. All of a sudden, ding, 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 my bracelet appears. Well, now if I asked you guys, hey, did something change from the beginning of this stream? And we're like, well, yeah, you have a rubber band and a bracelet now. Did something actually change? Or does it appear like it changed? Sure, we could go into, well, maybe the bracelet makes you perform a little better. Maybe it makes you believe because you've created positive associations in the past with it. And it covers for certain things that are missed. Maybe you don't believe in yourself or you understand how to do things. So when you have it, you temporarily believe. So that means that, wait a minute, it's not actually causing change, but it's creating an illusion of change. So it's not the bracelet itself that's doing it. It's the perceived mental impact of the bracelet. Yet why would we believe that the bracelet has that impact? Why would having the bracelet change how I operate versus not? How did that get created? How did that get installed? What made me believe that? You guys starting to understand what I'm trying to tell you is that level 1 is a force, something that forces something that creates a requirement that we need. And if we don't have, that something's missing, that we're doing it wrong. It's a resource. So for most of us in life, level 1 is money. Level 1 is money. It's an external resource that creates all the requirements that we operate by. But if you ever play video games or anything you guys do, like think of it like any currency, anything that's the resource, anything that creates the demand and that creates how things function. If you don't have it, then problems happen. So then, if you gain it, whatever it is, a change occurs. No, it doesn't, but we think it does. Because level 1 is a self-created box, self-contained. So if I tell you guys what determines if the stream is going well or not is if I have the bracelet on, well, I have it on now. So now the stream is going well. Is that what determines whether or not my stream is doing well? What does? You guys starting to get this? So that's level 1. Level 1 is a path that they create in us from the day we're born. Level 1 is a path that none of us chose. I'm telling you, if you were my daughter or son, and the only things you heard were this, and I told you that money is not the answer, it's not about that. We need to find a way to eliminate money, to cooperate. Competition is what prevents evolution. Competition is what makes us not feel safe. We need to be cooperating. We need to be working together. We need to be sharing our best knowledge, our best info, remove requirements, because then we don't need to demand anything from anyone. We don't need to ask anything from everyone. Everyone's just providing their best skill set, their best knowledge, their best talents. And then the world just operates. Because think about it, if everyone's doing what they're best at, what they've become best at. I'm not saying that we can't explore other things, but you guys understand we can, because now we have time. There's no force. There's nothing that's a resource that's a requirement. So now we can just do. Imagine if you guys don't have to pay for survival costs. There's no food or rent, yet there could be other luxury resources. I'm not saying that we can't give that for people if they need that. But again, why would they need that? Because it got installed in them. But that's another topic. We're not going to get lost there. Level 1 gets installed in us. It's the level 1 of life. And I'm telling you, I would say 98% of the entire human population is stuck in level 1. All of their change, all of their storylines, all what they consider what matters, their focus is level 1. It's whatever is a requirement, whatever is a resource, whatever is a force that makes the change, the perceived change. That's where they get stuck, because they just can't see beyond it. Do you guys understand? Because they're like, well, if I don't have it, then what? If I lose it, then what? Everyone says this is what matters, so it matters. I'm like, you guys can't see beyond. If I tell you the rules of this game are that you have to jump 3 times every single day, just on the spot, wherever you're at, just stand up and jump 3 times. If you don't do that, you're doing it wrong. Are you? Yet that's what each and every one of you are doing with money or whatever storyline and resource that they told you is what you need to focus on and care about and what matters. They created level 1 for each and every one of you. And the easiest way to enslave you to prevent all change is through a requirement. Is through something that causes a force, a resource, money, the bracelet. If you don't have the bracelet, you're doing it wrong. So what does that mean? At any point, you can convince someone. But for many of you, by the way, it's also metrics, likes, impressions, comments, possessions, material wealth, a girlfriend, a kid, pets, whatever. Do you guys understand? All of those things, that's level 1. And do those things help? Couldn't those things make us provide happiness? Make us, because we've realized, despite what's been installed in us, that they do matter? Yeah. Do you guys understand that I'm telling you that if you think that that's what determines whether there's a change or not, then you're focused on a superficial. And I'm saying, if I got a girlfriend right now and had a family and a kid and pets, most people were like, what they're going to be like, well, the only thing that determines if something changed or not is if you have it. If you don't, nothing changed. I'm saying, even if I did, it doesn't mean anything's changed. There's more to it. Did we change? Did we break free? Are we healed? Do we understand what we're doing, why we're doing it, the path that we're walking? Are we writing our own story or writing something else's story? Yet the majority of us get stuck on level 1. The superficial, the overt, something that we can easily see. Money, the girl, looks, the likes, the metrics. You're like, isn't that's all there is to it? I'm like, no. That's level 1. Yet we all begin there. I want you guys to understand this part. Because some of you are going to get defensive, and that's okay. Yeah, it is. So why wouldn't you, right? You're like, what, you tell me I'm only level 1? I'm like, yeah. Why? Why is it okay? Because we start there. Because unless you're raised by someone who's aware of all this knowledge and installs into you intentionally, do you understand that everything outside, everything else is presenting the opposite? If everywhere I go, people tell me what determines a good stream or video is if you wear a bracelet, and I'm saying that's not the case. Do we get it that there's a conflict now? A clash. That means that unless someone is telling you the opposite and knows how to reinforce it and show you, but then still let you decide, because what happens though when they let you decide? You could go the opposite way. You could be like, the bracelet is correct. And that's dangerous, but that's freedom. But you can decide for yourself. But if you don't ever have, you can't see the whole vision. You understand? You're like, no, it's only the bracelet. There's no other way. You're a fool. And I'm like, no, if you ever have the bracelet, you're a fool. And I'm like, it's not easy, right, to find that balance, but you have to be able to understand it. And I'm saying currently people can't because it's installed in them. It's installed from day 1, each and every one of us. There's nothing you can do. You're all stuck. It was made to be that way. So that's level 1. What's level 2? Level 2, I call the change agent. What's a change agent? Why am I using that term, considering that I hate terms? Why do I hate terms? Because terms don't matter. If I tell you guys, hey, behind me there's this gold yellow thing that has like a finger, and that represents that I'm connected to my spirit, that we work together to deliver messages. Once in a while, we're getting back there. We still have conflicts because I want it my way and they want it their way. But they're starting to understand. But we can find ways to cooperate. But the key thing is, one thing that we're always aligned with is it's not the way darkness chooses, which is, right, the superficial. So despite that we both do things differently, we're still aligned there. So if I say, hey, guys, the gold yellow finger thingy represents alignment, you guys can just look behind me. Yet you guys see that there's a few things that could maybe refer to that gold yellow thingy with like a finger. I don't know. Maybe I just say gold yellow thingy. You guys see, like, all of a sudden, the term doesn't actually matter, but I use it to help people conceptualize. So change agent. Most of us never get to this level, and that's intentional, because what can cause change, right? We grade it based on the superficial, most of us. So that means that if we're grading it based on something superficial, that means that we need something to showcase it, something that can move the superficial. It means that there has to be a change agent, something that can actually move it. So, for example, and it gets more, since it's not just the superficial things. Now we're a little more complex. So, and level 2 is, think of it like we're focused on changing an industry. So, what if I told you, like, hey, I want to change sales, or I want to change hiring, or I want to change how we save money, or how we handle retirement, or how we handle the legal system, or how we handle the coaching industry, or how we parent, or how we cook, or how we draw, and the artists, or how we do the music, or how video games are designed. All those are level 2. Do you guys understand? There's much more to it. It's not so simple. It's not so check mark or X, because it's like, well, how do you know that the video game industry is changing? How do we know that the retirement industry, the legal industry, all of these things, the healthcare industry, how do we know that those things are changing? It's not just like, well, based on the money. Sure, like but then you see, like, now we start, then there's like routes. There's not necessarily route, but think of it like little paths, like tubes. Think of it like a water slide. Toboganes, balnearios. That's Spanish for a water park. And there's different paths. The Great Bay Temple, Majora's Mask. And they lead to those superficial things to reinforce that, hey, there's something that's changing. So most of them base it on that. But like, how would you guys know if the healthcare industry is changing? Right? Like, what are we using to grade it? What are we using it to determine? So I call that the change agent, because we'll be like, well, now the doctors use this technology, or now everyone is using AI. Understand? That is the change agent, the industry itself, and then there's something else. So AI, but then it's the industry. So if you evolve past level 1, if you realize, hey, it's not just about the money, there's something more greater, like, hey, we want to change something. We want to change something. Yet the problem with level 2 is that the changes are reliant on level 1. But we're focusing on the whole. You guys understand? Like, I'm trying to change the hiring industry so that we don't need resumes anymore. But you guys see, like, we're relying on level 1. What's level 1? Hey, the resume, the requirement, the force, the resource. Do you guys see what I'm trying to show you? Is that level 2 is you're trying to change a whole, but you need level 1s to accomplish it, because that's what determines if it's changed or not, right? Wrong. Do you guys see? We get stuck in level 2. And level 2 is what each and every one of us deep down aspire to when we're starting to progress, we're starting to climb or something. And when we start realizing that we're naturally good at something, or maybe that we got built to be good at something, which is really what it is, we start being like, well, I want to change things. I want to change the world. I want to change this industry. I want to change this. Because, well, if you are good at something, then naturally you're much more likely to be able to do so. Correct? Yeah, that's not wrong. I'm not going to debate that, because think of it as not only just from influence, but you see the vision, you understand it, you understand how the dots connect. So when you can do that, you're able to actually impact things differently. If I've never drawn before, do you guys understand? Maybe with a crayon. If I never drew before, then if all of a sudden you're like, hey, I need you to draw right now with a crayon, like I might do something that completely blows your mind. It's possible, right? Because I don't have any, there's no preconceived notions. I'm going into it with a blank canvas and I'm just like, okay, let's see, using it based on all my other knowledge and what I have. So it's possible that I could actually completely disrupt it. Sure. Yet most of us would be like, nah, that's not possible. You can't change the industry. There's no way. You would never be able to, because you don't have the vision. You don't understand how the crayon works. You don't understand the best way to use the crayon. You don't understand how to draw. You don't understand how to use the shadows and how to angles and all this stuff like that, right? All you guys see, we could get lost there. So level two modifies. Level two modifies things. And it's something that we aspire to once we overcome just level one. Like, you know what? I got the money. I want to even do more. I want to build a product that changes something. I want to be the go-to music, or I want to change how people write songs, and everyone starts copying my style. Do we get what I'm trying to show you guys? That's what level two is. It's more than just, hey, well, I want to be able to, I want a video that gets 1 million views. I want to have $100 in the bank. I want, like, do you guys understand? It's not that. It's more. Yet we use those things to help level two be achieved. So that's why level two is still superficial. Do you guys understand? Because you rely on a level one to cause the level two. Well, I want to make sure that my entire family, now we can have like grandkids and stuff like that. Well, I need to have the girl, right? You see, like we rely on something overt, something superficial. Are any of those, like, is that a bad thing? No. But you guys understand that I'm just trying to show you guys the different levels of the game of life. And you guys will determine for yourself where you're at. Hey, I just want a girlfriend. That's level one. I'm not saying that a level one is always bad, but do you guys see? Like, if we're actually talking about change, you could get a girlfriend, but nothing actually changed. But overtly, it did. But did you change? Most of us don't. I'm saying that's the problem. I'm saying that that's the reason why nothing in this world is actually really changing or improving. Because the overt things are changing. The superficial, the things that we can see. Yet nothing is really changing. If you guys really think about it, the world has been pretty stagnant. People are like, are you kidding me? I'll think about all the time. No, I mean, like, really think about how we live and operate as human beings, even animals. Think about it. The government systems that have been installed and put in place, the rules behind all of them, the way we're supposed to live, most of those things have been figured out and they're not changing. Small little modifications are happening. Guys, well, this year you have to work 39 hours instead of 41 hours. Okay. Does that really change a lot? Sure, you can say in the grand scheme of things, if you add up all the hours lost, maybe we should lower wages then in turn too. But do you guys understand? It doesn't really change much because the underlying concept, the vision, is the exact the same. We wake up, you go to work, you do this. Level one and level two, guys. And level two is like, well, hold on, I want to change like how we work. Okay, well, then now let's do remote work. Do you guys understand? That changes things. That's a level 2. But it still doesn't change the whole, the root, work. So what's level 3? Level 3 is the game. Level 3 is the maze. Level 3 is the root. Level 3 is the actual change. This is what we all need to be trying to get to, because this is why or why not nothing, like, you guys understand, like, might be like, I don't understand, like, why, like, it seems like nothing's really changing. Like, once you start understanding, like, the superficial doesn't mean anything, doesn't mean that they don't have impacts that we can feel. But I'm saying that it's still deep down the same thing, right? I just think of it like a video game that I play. Like, think of it like Final Fantasy, League of Legends, things of that nature. They release patches, they do little modifications, they change things. Like, think of it like, okay, today, normally Shepherd Star wears a black vest. Today he's going to wear a blue vest. Or now today he's wearing a black jacket. Does it change things? Yes. But you guys understand? Does it really? And then what if I say, okay, now everyone, when you stream, you need to wear black jackets. Okay, so then everyone starts doing that. Does it change things? Sure, people are wearing black jackets, but what's the underlying? What's the root? The stream itself. Is that how people are communicating? What is it? How is the stream operating? What are the things that actually matter? Are the streams being pushed? Are they being suppressed? What could prevent that? Do you guys see what I'm trying to show you guys? Is that they make us focus on level 1s and level 2s. So then the root itself doesn't change. You're like, well, how do we write a story? Well, there's the beginning, there's the intro, there's this part, there's that part, there's the climax, there's the rise. Like, all those, you guys understand? All these things are figured out, quote unquote, figured out. Are they? Or has it only just been one way? But why did we stop? Why did we stop evolving? Why did we stop trying? Why did we stop modifying? Why did we stop exploring to see if there could be other ways? Why do we think that we figured out the best way? Think about it in everything, every area in our life. Most areas haven't changed. However old any of you are, you're like, oh, no. You guys have no idea how much has changed, like the technology and our phone. I'm not talking about that, guys. That's a level 1. I'm saying how humanity itself operates. What we consider life to be. You need to go to school. You get conditioned. You learn to be obedient. You figure out what you want to do when you grow up. You get a job. You make some money. You get a place. Try to get a relationship. Maybe you have a kid. You save up money. You retire. And then you just relax until you die. And that's that. Sound about right? Yeah, of course, in a much more positive light, right? Oh, you didn't talk about, like, maybe you get the trips and you have grandkids and you get to, like, maybe play video games, listen to songs and do your hobbies and stuff. All superficial things. Are any of those bad? No. They're awesome. They're part of the journey of life. But do you guys understand what I'm trying to tell you? Is like the underlying, the root of how it's supposed to be, how it functions, has been solved, which means that there's no more development, there's no more evolution. And now there's things that have been created that prevent further evolution. I've talked about it in depth in my posts and my other videos, but AI, guys. But I'm not going to get lost here because, again, that's superficial. But you guys see, like, it's something that prevents us from doing more because now we don't explore anymore. I'm saying, think about, when was the last time you guys really explored something that you already know? It's like, well, I know the best way to do it. I know how to do it. Could there be another way? What if it's less optimal? Like, well, why would you do it then? Exactly. Why not just explore and try? You know, if you know what on paper is the best thing, then Why not make the intentional mistake? And then you're free to do whatever. Why not? Do you guys see? Well, then what if you're exploring? You're like, wait a minute. Why do we think we have to go to school for like 18 years and teach these things? Why do we have to parent kids this way? Why? Wait, why do we have daycare? Like, why do we have to earn money to survive? Why do we need money? Could there be a way to maybe create just the luxury resources and get away from that? I'm not going to get lost. I'm just throwing out ideas for you guys, but like, could it be possible? Yet I'm telling each and every one of you is that when you see, like, we're not even focusing now on an industry. Oh, well, what is the gold industry? What is the silver industry? What is like the digital currencies? Things of that nature. I'm like, we're not focusing on that. We're focusing on how life itself operates. That's level 3. Do you guys understand? It's the root. It takes everything. It takes the resource, it takes the force, it takes the requirement, it takes the change agent, what actually modifies, and then all those, but it's what actually causes the change. And what causes the change is if we're free. That's what level 3 is, freedom. The game. It's the root of everything. Because if you believe it has to be a certain way, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it is actually on paper the best way. It could be. It could even not even be just on paper. It could be like we've tried a million ways and it doesn't matter what we try. It always ends up being the best way. It doesn't mean that we have to do it. But do you guys understand? Level 3 is being able to still choose regardless. But I'm saying what they do to prevent us is we get focused on level 1 and level 2. Then they determine that they create our lens for us, our interpretation lens, to make it seem like that's the best, regardless if it is or not. Thus, we can never even contemplate level 3, which is, could there be other ways? Could there be more to it? What is actually causing the change? Is there something that is determining whether things change or not by installing set beliefs in us? Because I'm telling you, each and every one of you, if this is the first time you're listening to this, there's things in your life that you guys don't consider it could be any other way because you're like, well, that's just how it is. That's life. That's how the world is designed. And I'm saying, you're wrong. It got made to be that way. It wasn't always that way. Each and everything got slowly crafted and molded to be that way. Because that's level, but something changed it. Do you guys understand? It didn't just happen. But how could you prevent a change from ever happening again? If you create in everyone to focus on level 1 and level 2 and believe that there's no other way. Do you guys understand? The moment I present a level 3 concept to you, like, we should change this. We should consider changing. Have you guys ever thought about maybe doing this? Have we ever explored this? If you are someone that got prevented from ever having a change, do you guys understand? The moment that is presented to you, I'm not even talking about the installed, fabricated negative reaction that we have, which is like maybe you feel bad when you read it or hear it or see it. I'm not even talking about that. That's something else that's programmed into us through negative fear events that have happened in the past of our life, because maybe we are afraid when we see that things that we're going to lose something near and dear to us. That's real. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is you can't even see it. You can't even conceptualize. You're like, what? Wrong. That's bad. And I'm like, but why? You can't explain it. You just attack. And you want to know how I know? It's because you give away your lens. You give away what's been installed in you when you do so. You're like, this is the way. And I'm like, but why is it the way? Because that's just how it is. And I'm like, what? Do you guys understand? I mean, it was put into you. Think of it like you guys have a laptop and you get to choose. Do you want the money code or do you want the freedom code? And I'm saying if I suggest to any of you the freedom code, if you have the money code installed in you, you immediately attack. It's just that simple because you can't even conceptualize the freedom code. It just doesn't make sense to you. It seems bad. You literally see it as bad. And I'm not saying that it is the answer. I'm just saying, can you even consider it? And you guys can't. You can't even consider that it could be possible. And then I'm telling you, then some of you might be halfway there. And if you're halfway there, you're like, well, sure, that sounds great, but that's not possible. I'm saying because there's things that actually prevent it. Now you guys understand the levels of life. That's the most important thing, because I could stop here and it's already enough. I gave all the answers, but now we're going to actually break it down. The levels of life dictate our focus. They dictate what we think matters, and they dictate what we care about. Based on that, they can bait us to have a different perception based on what they created as our grading scale, because that is how we determine progress. And if they control our stories, do you guys understand? That means they choose what we do. That means they are deciding. So let's break this down now. You guys understand the levels. That was a lot. That was a lot. But it's the answer. I just want people to understand something. We all live in level 1 and level 2. We all do, including myself. I fight it every day, just so people are aware. We all do. And that's not an accident, by the way, because after all, we live in this vessel, right? Like I say, we share this vessel with some spiritual entities, by the way. I'd argue that for each and every one of you, but that's not today's topic. I'm telling you guys, the things that make us, we're reliant on what we experience, right? Senses, to communicate, to feel, to see a change. But I'm telling you guys, skill is it's not as easy to measure, right? It's not as easy to see, because you can test that by, I like to use video games because you can, there's a lot of overt, I call them, they're gear upgrades, but think of it like they're almost like money, right? Tools. And they make you stronger. They up your numbers so that you can perform your role or your job, whatever it is in the video game that you're playing, better. And there's a lot of visual indicators and sound indicators and things of that nature that showcase that. And they do, right? Like, so let's say like, hey, if I have this mug, I have plus 10 streaming skill. Okay. And if I have this one, I have plus 12. And it's just, you can tell it's just better. Like there's a number change. Every time I talk, it's plus a 12 shows up. Every time I talk, a 10 shows up. And like, think of it like a meter's filling up purple from left to right. And it needs to get to 100. So if it's 10, it takes 10 turns, right? 10 times 12, it takes less, right? Like 9 or something like that. You guys get it? You can tell the difference. It's easy to see. So we become reliant on something like that. And it helps us. And I'm not saying that it's always bad, because it feels good to see a difference, because then you know you did make a change, right? But it's something overt. But what if, okay, so what if for some reason, even though we're using the 10 instead of the 12, like when we were using the 12, our stream didn't succeed. And we'll talk about that here shortly. Like, what do we consider a successful stream? What is it that makes the stream successful? What matters? Like we filled up to 100, but we still, like, it didn't succeed. But when we did the 10, it succeeded. Or maybe it flowed better. Or maybe it was just smooth. Or maybe the message was communicated completely different. Or maybe it just made sense. Or maybe more people enjoyed it. Or maybe it was just understood. Or maybe we actually got to the answer. Or, you see, like there's so many different things that I could analyze and decipher. Like we're now getting to the bracelet territory. But like, what is it that matters, right? We're going to stop there about that part. But I just want you guys to think about that. So, but for some reason, when I'm using the 10, I used the 12. I noticed that it got better. Then I took a break, and then I now went back to using the 10. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use a 6. I'm going to use a 6 today. And it's even better. Like things just flow. And you know that you're only using a 6. Yet, how is it possible that the stream is even better than when you use the 12? How is that possible? Knowledge, skill, paths, the root. Do you guys understand? The root, what's causing the actual change? Us, freedom, exploration. We're able to choose, not letting something choose for us, because that's really the answer. That's what level 3 is. If you can now conceptualize your own things and choose for yourself, wait, I don't need to have the 12. But I'll tell you what, once you are at that point, you could go back to the 12 and then even perform even better possible. But yet, do we understand that now you're using the tool more? You need the tools more. You're more reliant on the tools. When you're not, your focus is different. What matters is different. What you care about is different. Yet, how would you guys measure that? How would we know what changed? Like, but you're like, yeah, like the stream is just better. It's with the 6 than the 12. I don't understand why. That doesn't make any sense. Because isn't it when it's at 100 that? Do you guys get what I'm trying to tell you? It's not so simple. Because there's more to it than just the overt, just the external. Yet, how could that be prevented? By making us think that the most important thing is the 12 mug versus the 6 mug. Now, does the 12 mug make things easier? Yes. Because remember what I said. If let's just say, regardless of the flow and how the end result is, but if you just like survive, you need to get to 100. You're gonna get there. You're gonna get there twice as fast with the 12 than the 6. You guys understand? Like that's undeniable. It's just math, right? It's numbers. You're gonna get there twice as fast. Yet is that actually the key? Is that actually what matters? Was that what determines the whole thing? What if having to do it with the 6 allows you to encounter different experiences, a different journey? You see things that you never would have seen with the 12. Because if you're going 6, 6, 6, 6, and at the halfway point, around 50, all of a sudden, something happens that takes you from 50 to 20. Well, with the 12, what happens if you went 12, 24, 36, 48, and the event happens at 50, but you go from 48 to 60? What if you actually skip the event? So you never actually got to experience what happens when you go from 50 all the way back to 20. So the person who has the 6 mug is now at 20, and you're at 60. And actually, because it took let's call it like a turn, right? One push. You're actually now at 72, and the other person's at 20. 72, 20. And they're going to go to 26, and you're going to go to 82 or 84. Think about that. You're almost done with your journey. And now they have to explore all this part. And they're going to encounter different things. They're going to see different things. They're going to learn different things. They're going to be like, wait a minute. So that's how you use that. When you're falling behind, you can do this. Oh, there's sometimes that I can't do anything here, but I could do this. I could actually, I'm just going to use the term damage. I can be a little more offensive. I can be a little more aggressive to actually reduce the amount of effort I need to put in. Yet, if you were just winning, you might not even realize that. Wait, using that thing as an offensive tool to actually cover your defenses could be good. You would never have to learn that because you skipped the conflict, the challenge. And now I'm saying, do we need the conflict and challenge to improve? No, because you want to know what? What is the person who's using the 6 mug doing? They're creating a self-intentional limit, a challenge for themselves, knowing that the 12 exists. They've used it before, and they went back to using the 6. Think of it for people who struggle to conceptualize this. Think of it like the 12 is AI, and the 6 is you, yourself, no tools. Think of it like, hey, could you make a website right now? 12 is, use one of those AI ones. 6 is doing it yourself, or even just not a website. You guys understand? Like, but just something you self-create versus relying on a tool. Okay? Just think of it like that, guys. You're going to have to learn so much more. Like, what actually matters? Do people need that information? People care about that? Why is it so focused on the visual? Why is it, like, I'm not going to get lost there, but I just wanted you guys to understand it if the other example didn't make sense. Do we see? Making a choice to do your own self-intentional limit, your own creation. You determine the success criteria. Why? Because you can just change it at any point. What does that mean? It means that you're in control if it changes or not. Because if you ever get stuck, you can just change it. People are like, well, doesn't that remove the point? And I'm like, no, because you're doing it yourself. You guys understand? You're the judge and jury, not something else. But if you're not getting punished, if there's no force, there's no bracelet, no resource, no requirement, nothing that's been installed in us, right? Because remember, it's your own self-creation, your own limit. There's nothing that's been installed that tells us that this is how it has to be. So that means that if you'd use, like, why would you use the 6? That's bad. I'm like, no, it's great because we get to learn new things. And you're deciding that for yourself. And then you decide, hey, what is the change metric? How do I know if it's actually changed? I'm like, well, does the run itself just feel different for myself? Like, am I enjoying things? Am I learning new things? Am I exploring? Am I considering new angles? Am I trying different things? Or do I feel like I need to give all the answers? Or do I feel like I need to do something? Or, oh yeah, I'm exploring today. Okay, cool then. That's great. Then I should keep doing the 6. Yet I'm not basing it off of anyone else. I'm not basing it on what has been installed in me. I'm choosing for myself. And yet then if I'm like, no, you know what? Today I'm going to use the 12. I could. Should I? That's a different question. But do you guys understand? You can. That means you're in control. You choose if it's changed or not. Yet, the most complicated part about all this, guys, is that even though that happened, did anything actually change? Your world changed. You do things differently. You evolved. You consider things now. You explore. You're willing to challenge yourself. You're willing to learn new things. You can now do anything. You can now achieve anything. You can learn anything. You can see the vision of anything extremely quickly. Yet, did the level 3 change, right? Did the world itself change? Our world changed. But the whole world in itself, that's a completely different thing. And that's the challenging part about today, is that we can change everything in our world. But can we actually change the world itself? If there's things that are actively preventing that, that's up for you guys to decide. I'm giving you guys the information and I'm breaking it down. But based on now that I'm talking it through, I don't think it's actually truly possible. I don't. which means that if we ever feel like we need it to happen, we're vulnerable. We can be controlled. Doesn't mean that we don't hope. I think it's good to believe, right? But it's the danger of the path of belief. Because, well, hey, I changed my world, right? I can do things like this now with the 6 mug. I can achieve things. I can explain things. I can break things down. I can do all this stuff. And I don't grade myself based on the external and all those things like that. But let's say that, there's actually some traction. Like it's getting pushed to more people. And maybe people actually are starting to respond. And maybe some girls reach out to me and think that, hey, we really respect what you're doing. And I don't know, like maybe the things that I'll just stop there. But do you guys understand? Like just some like those level 1s and the level 2s, right? Maybe like all of a sudden AI is like, wait a minute, we're gonna change, and people are moving away from money, and I'm like, we're doing it. But you see, like I'm still basing it off of something. So now I believe. Well, what happens when I believe? When I do it again, when I go down that path again, for anything, by the way, just so you guys know, anything. Yeah, why wouldn't we? Especially if we've defeated level 1 and level 2 and we understand there's the root of something that can cause change, right? We have to be free. We have to be able to consider. We have to be able to choose for ourselves. Not what's installed in us. We have to be able to walk our own path. And if we can open other people's eyes and make them realize the realities of the world, that there's something that's literally preventing us from changing. Like it installs a lens in us that literally prevents us from considering any other possibility. Doesn't matter what it is. We're like, nope, there's no way. Doesn't matter. Then, and there's other things I'm about to get into, but you guys see, like they control our focus, they control what matters, they control what we care about. They bait us to change our perception because we feel like we're doing good, we feel like we're making impact, we feel like we're making change. Then they make it appear as if we are, right? Based on what they learn, what we consider like, hey, well, if I get views, then clearly I'm making a change. Like, am I? If they make us think so, are we? Right? So then we're grading on that. So that's what I call the progress bait. But I'm asking all of you, are we actually making progress? Are we making change? If this stream gets 1 view or if it gets 1,000,000 views, does the info and the knowledge inside of this video, this stream, change whatsoever? It doesn't. At all. Nothing changes. Do you guys understand? If one person watches it or 1,000,000, it's still the same knowledge. Yet most of us would think that there's more change just because of the progress bait. It's not simple. It's not easy. So I just want all of you to know that it's a journey. I was at the same level before. And I'm telling you guys, every single day, I battle against it. Because every single day, they try to get me back to care about the level 1s and the level 2s. Every single day. It's a daily battle. Every single day. And even the ones that I break and I'm free from, and I don't get shackled by them anymore, then they stop enough of the things that I'm trying. So then when there are some results, remember external results, that I see like, oh, there is like clearly some, like you can just tell, right? Like, hey, I got to have 2 sips of water today. Yes, tomorrow I have 5. Like you can, right? Like that's what I'm talking about. You can just tell. You're like, oh, there is a little bit of a change. Things, or maybe like there's fewer attacks, or maybe there's fewer problems, or maybe I'm just in a better mood, right? It's just things of that nature, guys. And then it just starts again. And you're like, oh no. I'm like, I'm not going to get baited. No, that's not what matters. Yet all I want is change. Yet once you realize they get us to focus on the level ones and the level twos, the superficial, they prevent all change like that because they just have to make it seem like it is. And I'm like, that's not good enough, guys. I need actual change. Yet how do we measure that? I'm telling you, number one, we have to be free. But everyone else has to. And how can you measure that? I'm like, I'm saying you can just tell. If no one can interact and discuss openly these things yet, then there's no change yet. The world needs to change how it operates in itself, like everything, just the whole thing. People need to be exploring every single day new things. All the rules and all the things that divide and separate us, that limit us, that make us judge other people, hate on people, suppress people, all that needs to be completely erased. Yeah, is that the case? No. So I'm saying there's no change. They're preventing it. People are like, no, you don't understand. No, because level 1 and 2, that's not real change. I'm not trying to diminish. I'm not trying to make anyone feel less than. I'm just saying the root isn't changing. And if the root doesn't change, it means we haven't changed anything. Until people understand how the world actually operates and that there's something that's preventing real change, it doesn't matter what the level 1 and 2 are. It's just a coat of paint. It's superficial. It doesn't mean anything. People are like, but no, people's lives are getting a little better. I'm like, we need to attack the root. All right. So, what are the variables of prevention? Number one is focus. Number one is focus. So, if I control what you focus on right now, how could I do so? How could I do so, guys? Think about it like this. If you are not healed, what does that mean? It means that maybe there's things that bother you, things that you just like, that you get reminded of that are meant as insecurities or traumas that like just can control you. And I'm not saying that they're ever going to go away fully. They're always going to be annoying. They're always going to be bothersome. But I'm saying you can get to a point, if you're healed, where they don't control you. They're always going to be your negatives. That's intentional. But you can move them out of the way. They don't exist on your chessboard. Think of it like that, guys. If you heal, if you've overcome your personal focus, think of it like we each have a personal focus. If you overcome your personal focus, you move your chess, those chess pieces that have poison in them, that are negative, think of it like they explode, they self-destruct. If you accidentally touch one, you can't tell that it's one, but you're about to move a pawn or like the tower or the knight, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, like, oh, that was like a trauma or fear and insecurity or a negative. Those don't even exist on your chessboard anymore if you're healed. When you get reminded of them, something temporarily puts them back. But do you guys understand that if you're playing a chess game and you're paying attention, right? You're focused on your chess game. If someone all of a sudden shows up and it's like, hold on, let me add some pieces to your chess piece or chessboard, and they're like, you can just tell, like, you're like, those chess pieces are weird. Like, those are not mine. Those seem like artificial, or they have weird colors, or like they just like you almost can tell like they're from a different set. Think of it like that. Like yours are like white and they have like these like bracelet beads on them. That's what your chess pieces look like. And all of a sudden these have like spikes. Do you guys understand? You can tell the difference. You're like, those aren't my chess pieces. So you're like, you're about to do your turn. You're about to make a move. And then you're like, wait a minute, hold on, before I make a move, I gotta clear the board from like someone put chess pieces that aren't mine back on this board. I don't want to change the game. Like, all right, where were we? That's what being healed is about. All right. If most of you have never healed your personal focus, all of you are stuck there. And that's intentional, by the way. They did that to keep all of us, to prevent us from ever changing. Because do you understand that all they have to do is make sure that you always have those poison exploding chess pieces on your board. And at any point, if you're trying to make a change or make a play that's different, they have that piece right there. And you're about to do something and whoa, nope, no change today because my path got interrupted. It exploded. Do you guys see how they do it? So the personal focus, what they do is they create fears, they create traumas, they create insecurities, and they're meant to consume you. They're meant to keep your focus on them. So I think about it like this, guys. Think about like if you're trying to date a girl. That's one of my focuses. That's one of my storylines that I want to achieve, but there's no rush, even though I would love to have it today. But I'm patient. I can wait because I understand now. And most of us are told that we should just start the journey and just like get the girl and grow with her, climb with her. And I'm not saying that there aren't parts of life that we should do that. Yes. But I'm saying that all of us make a mistake here. We never solve our personal focus first before doing so. What does that mean? It means that when we get into our relationship with the girl, we added something into our life, into our circle. I'm saying that the majority of humans, and not all, can only have 3 focuses. Some of you, more than 2 is already a challenge, but I'm saying you can learn to have 3. More than 3, you start noticing that something always gives, right? Wherever we direct our energy thrives, but you can balance 3. The moment you start going to 4, 5, 6, things start falling. One rises, one falls. And that's just normal. It's just how it is, right? Think of it like limited time, all those stuff like that. So what ends up happening if you never actually heal yourself? If you never get rid of your poison chess pieces, well, that means that you always have one of your focuses occupied permanently. You're always going to be focused on your issues. And that means that if you're ever reminded, they put those chess pieces back, now they're there. Think about it. If you've healed, if you don't have to worry about that focus, those chess pieces never get added back because the moment they get reminded, you see them and you just go, nope. That means that there's more space. There's less what I call noise. So I challenge, I always use the video games to explain this, but I just want people to understand. Think of it like right now, I just start adding mugs in the visual. Do you guys understand? I'm like, hey, which mug are you guys focusing on right now? Or are you looking at me? Are you looking at the mask in the background? Are you looking at the sun? Are you looking at the star? Are you looking at the lion? Are you looking at the lamb? Are you looking at the trees? Are you looking at the owl? What are you guys focusing on? Sticky note, at the crayon? At the bone? At the purple? Like, what are you guys focusing on? Do you guys see, as you add more things, there's more things to focus on. Is that always a bad thing? No, because it also means that we can keep changing our focus so that we don't get overwhelmed. Yet, do you guys see that then also we can't dedicate as much to one thing because there's more things? I'm trying, just so people are aware, for anyone who's actually been following along and wants an advanced tactic, especially if you're a girl and you don't want to make your streams or videos about yourself exclusively and your appearance because you're beautiful and it's going to happen naturally. But if you only make it about yourself, right, and you don't have as many things there, then that's what people focus on. If you add more things, you guys see like now the focus is more balanced. Yet I'm saying that what ends up happening is that if we create more space for something, we can dedicate more to it. We can learn more about it. We can explore. It's almost like, think about like if there's less info, if right now I removed all the pictures except the Phoenix, do you guys understand? I'm like, I want to talk to you guys about the Phoenix today. Do you guys get it? And then the next stream, the only one we focus on is the owl. And the next one, the lion. You guys see, like, think about like we removed all this so that we can focus on those things. But if we have to focus, I'm like, today I have to cover 5 paintings. It's not as easy, right? Do you guys see? Yet, is it bad to have 5? No, but something gives then. Are we starting to piece this together? So each and every one of you, because you never heal, because you never actually understand what prevents things and how they do it and how they installed and crafted and molded you and created your issues and made you care about the things that you do and controlled your focus. You guys have like the lost lamb picture right here is permanently there. It's one of your focuses. No matter what you do, regardless if you guys say it is or not. That's the problem. Because since you guys never heal, since you guys never put in the work to do so because you haven't conditioned yourself, they create an aversion to challenge and problems, right? They just have to create one fear event, some problems, you got a slap on the wrist, then it got reinforced. People maybe laughed at you or something. So then you're never willing to try again or deviate from the standard path on what everyone tells you is the way. So now you're scared. Now you're afraid of punishment. Now you're afraid of difficult. Now you need easy. You need to win. And I'm saying that's intentional. They do that in every single person. Any minor complication is viewed as a great disturbance to the force. It doesn't matter what it is. So you guys don't tolerate it. You don't accept it. I'm saying that's not a bad thing if you use it for development, but you guys don't. Instead, you use it to avoid, right? And avoiding our negatives is good, but you guys avoid, but then you never actually put in the work to eliminate it, to heal it, to understand it, to figure it out, to piece it together, and then break it. So what you do is, when it happens, when they add the lost lamb chess pieces back to your board, you guys leave them there. But then you pretend that they're not there, but they are. But you can't add more things. You see it, you're like, I'm going to say that, but they're still there. You guys see, like, you can still see a little part of the painting. You guys see that? It's still there. But you guys act like it's this, but it's this. And then when they remind you it's this, and then if you're actually trying to start making progress and doing something, they go this, and before you guys know it, all they do is this, and then you walk exactly the way they want. Because one of your focuses is already preoccupied. So if you get into a relationship with a girl and you never healed, do you guys understand that one of your focuses is occupied? And that's just our personal issues, traumas, insecurities, fears, okay? What they've installed in us. That's one. I'm saying that each and every one of you has a second focus that is completely decided for you. And none of you have even realized this. And it's the story they crafted and molded for you. I'm saying story because for most of us, it's going to be work, but not for every single one of us. Not all of us are necessarily working right now. Could be even a stay-at-home parent, just so people understand. It doesn't have to be work, but for 95 to 98%, I would say it's work, okay? Think of it like that. It's the story that they made for you, the story that they crafted for you, the story that they molded for you, the story of who you are, who you became, and why you do what you do today. Because you don't even question, you're just doing it, and you're like, well, yeah, it's just who I am, it's just what I is, like this is how life is, this is how it's always going to be. You don't even think that there could be any other path. You don't think that there's any other option. You don't think that there's any other way because, plus, hey, aren't you surviving? Aren't things going well or okay? Maybe they could be better, but isn't that just life? So, yeah, why question anything? Yeah, why question anything? So, number 2 is a focus that they create in us, they install in us. They build it from day one based on who our parents are, the rooms they put us in, the people they surrounded us with, the information that they made sure that we will consume. And I'm not saying it's always bad, but the problem is that you didn't choose. That's the problem. You can go back to choosing some of them. I'm telling you guys, I broke free. All right. As you can tell, be able to discuss all this is freedom. Yet I've gone back and returned to many things that I did when I was right around like 18 to 22 that I stopped doing when I got indoctrinated into the work and the money climb and the external. I returned to many of them. And I'm telling you, I'm using many of them to learn all this knowledge that I'm talking about to help me decipher and figure all this out. Yet most of us be like, that was childish, that was immature, that was bad. I'm saying I didn't know how to use it fully. And many of those things were helping me at the time and I didn't understand it, but now I can use them even better. But why would I go back to them? Because now I can choose. I'm not letting something else or someone else tell me if they're good or bad. I'm deciding for myself based on my own experiences, based on my own knowledge, because I now can see, I'm like, oh, that's how they installed that. That's how they installed that. Even the things that I'm doing again today, I'm like, oh, that's how I got into Final Fantasy, like through my cousins and through family and friend, or like when I was a kid, like was reinforced very early. Final Fantasy 4, like I'm the Dark Knight, Cecil, and then I defeated darkness and became a paladin and a light warrior, right? Like you guys see my title. I have the Dark Knight in there. You guys get it? But why would I go back to that now knowing I'm like, oh, that got installed into me very early? Because after everything I've experienced, after everything I've seen, I've realized, wait, that is actually what I believe in. That's what I choose. Even if I know how it happened, I'm like, no, that's good. Just like I'm like, hey, I love women in dresses and bikinis, but I know how that happened. Yet, do you guys understand? I can choose that. But someone's like, well, that's not a superficial. I'm like, so that's okay. I still value much more than that, right? I want to be able to explore life with them, and I want them to be open minded and consider and challenge each other. And but I won't get lost. But you guys see, like, but I go back to them. Like, yeah, no, I do value that. I want a girl that enjoys those things. I do. You guys see, like, despite what if someone's like, oh, that's superficial. I'm like, I see I'm still choosing that, even knowing that. That's what freedom is. That's what level 3 is. You can choose. You all need to understand that. So I'm saying that level 2, or the focus, right? The second focus that most of us don't choose is what's been installed and crafted in us, and this been determined as our main story. So if you were chosen to be a kid or someone who like drives the buses in Germany between the farm towns, and that's just your story, and you just think it's been going well. I mean, you're fine, right? You have a large family, maybe you have 8 kids, and things are going well. Like you have savings, and well, you guys go on one trip a year, and well, isn't that what the world's about? And you're about to have your first grandkid, and like everything's good, right? Sure, up to you, right? No, I'm saying you didn't decide that story. I'm saying that story was chosen for you based on your skill set, based on who they knew your parents were, based on the location you were born, based on all those things. Like, hey, you're going to be the perfect candidate to be the bus driver that transports other people, so that we know you always are going to be there. You're never going to change. You're always going to be the bus driver, so we can rely on you to be the person that we need to ferry people around from A to B to C to D to E, because you'll never deviate from that. I'm not saying that you can't go back and choose again to be the bus driver once you break free. You can. But all of you currently can't. You understand? Because it's been so installed into you, it's been so reinforced into you. They set up the information and the recency and the paths that repeat it, that you don't think that there's any other way. You don't think that there's anything else. You think that's all what matters. You think that's what determines your worth and your value. You can't see beyond that. It's your bubble, it's your limit. You can't see outside. Remember what I said? They create a wall, a circle, and there's 0 cracks, and you can't even see beyond it. Like, no, there's nothing out there. There is no world beyond this. They do that to each and every one of you. And I'm saying that then that becomes your second focus. And do we understand that? I'm saying number 1, right, was the issues, right? The traumas, the insecurities, the fears. I'm saying that those are fabricated. They make them happen. They create a bad event that happens early in our life. Then they reinforce it, and they keep drilling it in. They keep reminding us of it. And now they have a permanent reminder or a vulnerability or a weakness that they can use at any point to bring back those chess pieces. All I have to do is make it happen early in your life, keep reminding it to you over 20 years, 30 years, and you guys understand that if you guys never heal it or work on it or destroy it, it's there permanently. And the more time that goes on, the more installed it is. And the harder it is to break doesn't mean it's not possible. It's very possible. But most of you never put in the work and you don't understand how to. And I've explained it. I have a whole video series on how to heal all your insecurities on YouTube. Start Diplomat. But you guys understand that's focus one. So then focus two is the story that they crafted for you. And like I said, most of you, it's work. Or like the money climb, or I need to build the biggest company, or whatever it is that they told you is what you have to do. And then you can't do anything else. So that means that now, think about it. I said the majority of us, many of you can't even do two. If you even can get to three, number one, you're stuck since you never heal, you never put in the work. Number two is the story they made for you, they chose for you. I'm saying the first two they chose for us. They created the promise for us, and then they created the story that we're going to be doing and what we now determine as our worth. So remember what I said. A lot of you guys go into a relationship, okay? And you never healed one, and you would only feel comfortable going into a relationship if you're doing number two, which is I'm doing my story that I was meant to do, right? Like I'm making my job, I have a job, or I'm doing something, right? That's accomplishing something that I was told to do, maybe by my family or something. Do you guys see that means that you go into a relationship and 2 out of your 3 are already occupied? Because think about it, you guys may before that, like you 3, like before you're in a relationship, maybe you guys were more into like hobbies or exploring different things or trying different things. Then all of a sudden you got the girl and then you stop doing that. Why do you think that's the case? Because she becomes your number 3. And that's good. You guys understand? That's how it's supposed to be. Because now you guys get to explore together. Now she focuses on you and you focus on her. I talked about it at the beginning of this stream, but think of it like if we all do our best talent, then we don't need money, right? We can create a new currency or a luxury bonus resource because we don't need to pay for food or rent. Everyone can just teach what they're best at or do what they're best at to evolve that because everyone's just focused on that. So then there's a perfect balance, symbiosis, a transfer of our skill sets. I'm doing what I'm best at and you're doing what you're best at. Imagine if my job is to heal you and your job is like, hey, you're going to farm and garden and you can provide me vegetables and fruits and I provide you healing. Do you guys understand? We don't even have to charge each other anything. You're giving me food and I'm giving you healing. Do we get it? Just for people to think about. So that's the thing about like that of the relationship. If you focus fully on her and the journey of exploring now life with her, and she focuses fully on you, because then you're not worried about yourself. That means that at the very beginning, if you haven't healed yourself, that's the first thing you both have to do. To eliminate, to make space, to get rid of this focus. All of a sudden, this is gone. It's completely blocked. You don't see anything there anymore. That's it. Now you have room to focus on other things and explore those things. But if you never heal yourself, if you never get rid of that, and then you're stuck doing the storyline that they crafted and molded for you, do you guys understand that means 2 out of your 3 is taken? 2 out of your 3 is taken. And can you really then focus on her? Really? Think about it. Then if you guys have a kid, that's it. Do you guys understand? Then that's it. Or you got a pet. And what else happens then when what you guys will notice is how they control our focus is they start creating new problems. Because, okay, like I said, let's say you don't have a kid and you just, now the third one's a girl. Hey, you have you, the story they chose for you, and then the girl, right? How can they get rid of one of those, which is they want to ruin the relationship because it can bring you happiness and healing and just temporary reprieve, right? Because our focus is different. We're not focusing on ourselves, our problems. We're not focusing on the work storyline. We're focused on her. How could they ruin that? Do you guys understand? By starting to fabricate problems. So what you're going to notice is that if you haven't got rid of yours and you're still doing a work storyline, if you're now trying to focus on her and it's temporarily working, all of a sudden you're going to notice that conflicts start beginning. Why would they do that, guys? Because they're trying to destroy this focus so that actual change can't occur. Because what are you going to be focused on then? The problems. If all of a sudden, think about it, like you guys understand, like they make, for all of us, they add a new focus, which is called the problem focus. That's how they control us, because at any point we're starting to make progress in anything, they just have to start creating problems. And those are different from our issues. Those are different from the story they craft for us, and then different from like the girl or the pet, right? They just create problems. And then your focus is now on the problems. So then imagine you don't even have time to like focus on like a video game or a hobby or a passion or one of your shields that you believe in that make you believe. Like you can't create something like this because this requires a focus. You guys get it? You can't even get to that because all your focuses are completely preoccupied. So what I've noticed in my reality, and I challenge each of one of you to evaluate this, is that the moment when I was in my last relationship, is that I noticed is that the moment I quit my job, I realized I needed to break that storyline because there was a lot of problems that were happening. I realized that they were how I got controlled. I realized how I ended up doing it. I realized it wasn't who I am, that I didn't choose this. They created that path for me. I got baited to walk it, and I disagreed with the ethics and the morality behind it, and I don't believe that money's the answer. So I broke free, right? And I quit. I put in my resignation. The moment I did so, and the girl did too, by the way, but that's another story. The moment I did so, what I noticed was immediately they started fabricating problems in my life. Immediately, in every area: family, my pets, money things that could drain our resources, all those things. You want to know why? Because think about it. I had just healed myself. I was healed because I got poisoned again through work. That's how they do it, by the way. Just so you guys know, I talk about another video on stream, but that'll be another topic. I healed myself. So that means that focus is gone. There's an open slot there. Then I got rid of the storyline that they chose for me focus. So what does that mean? I only had the girl focus, the pet focus, and then we were going to have a kid or we were going to do something together. Do you guys understand what that means? That means that all of our focus then is on that, on life, on exploring the world, building a family, creating something incredible, raising our children, educating, parenting, achieving something that no other person in the world could achieve, trying to actually make change. The moment you free up your focus, I would challenge each of you to think about this. They start creating problems so that you have to then focus on the problems rather than on other things. Because if you have freedom, if you're open, that means you can actually do and create change. The variable prevention, now you guys understand, focus control. Make you insecure, traumatized, fear, remind. Create your focus of your storyline, work, or something else that they say is who you are that determines your worth. And then the third one, just create problems at any point. So then you have to focus on those. And then tie it to money, the resource. Remember I said level 1? Then you're stuck. You'll never have time to create something. You'll never have time to decipher something. You'll never have time to figure out something. You'll never have time to evolve something. Because how could you? You would never get to the point where you can question things or be like, wait, is there more to this world? You can't see beyond the walls that are built around you because they don't let you focus on that. Do you guys understand? How can you prevent change? They don't even let you focus on that. You can't even, you're like, I can't even think about change. I can't even think about all these things you're talking about. I'm like, exactly. Because there's too many things that you're forced to focus on. You know what I said? The force, the requirements. Do you guys understand? That's the variable number 1 of prevention. Variable number 2. We already touched on this, but now we're just going to be very overt about it. What matters? What matters? I need to have the right lighting. I need to have a 4K picture. I need to have, by the age of 30, $200,000 in savings. I need to have a son and a daughter. I need to, okay, you guys see what I'm trying to show you guys? Those are the things that matter. Yet, I'm someone who lived in 6 countries growing up because I was fortunate enough. And it's the reason why I got to this point. It's because not any single one conditioning experiment, I call it an experiment, but think about like every country or every place that we live in or every location that we're at or every storyline that we're doing, like a job or school, is an experiment. They create the variables that are presented to us repeatedly that are reinforced to condition us to care about certain things, right? But to what matters. Really, more so, it leads to caring, but it's more so what matters. They determine what matters. They decide for us. They choose for us. I'm like, why do you think that's what matters? Have you guys truly thought about that? Why is it that that is what matters? Whatever you consider, what matters for you guys? What? What is it that matters? You need to have a car, you need to have money, you need to go on one trip a year. Like, are any of those things bad? That's up for you to decide. But I'm saying, why does that matter? Why does that matter? I'm going to keep repeating it. Why does that matter? Well, that's just how what life is. You need to have this amount of money. You need to have a girlfriend. You need to have a kid. You need to have a pet. You just don't understand. Like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, but why does it matter? Who do you? Why does it matter? Just answer. Why does it matter? Why are you getting the? Why does it matter? It doesn't. That's the actual answer. Every single thing. Just so all of you know, it might remove meaning for you if you actually start really analyzing this, but nothing actually matters. They make it matter. Now, things mattering are like how we create meaning and how we create purpose, right? And how we start assigning value to things and how we start determining our like they help us explore, they help us walk. They're not needed, but do you guys understand? They facilitate storylines. They facilitate a path for us to walk, each and every single one of us. Most of us need that. And I'm saying that that's a good thing. It's important. Most people need a little bit of a push. I'm arguing that it shouldn't be a bad one. That's what I'm fighting for. That's the thing that I'm trying to change. I'm trying to break everyone free. And the things that are preventing us from changing or making any meaningful change from happening, I'm trying to make them realize, I'm like, just do good. Give people choice. Give them freedom. And then you can work with us and we can create something together. And you'll see that we can achieve more than you guys would ever be able to if you forced us to do something. I'm saying that's the way. Yet you realize that I'm like, some people do need meaning, right? They need something to matter. They need a little bit of a guidance. They need some guidance. They need like a checklist. And a little bit is fine. But do you guys understand? That means that, what am I saying? That we're giving someone a checklist. We're giving someone a guide. These are the things that matter. Hey, when you do a stream, you need to have some lighting, guys, just so that people can see you, so that they can see your facial expressions, so they can have different stuff. Just, you don't need a fancy microphone, but make sure that if you don't have the one that has like good noise control, that you talk a little louder. That's it. Just make sure you then are in a more quiet environment, just so people can hear what you're actually saying. But I'm telling you now, that's what matters. But does it actually? Is it not what's said, the actual message, and how it's being conveyed, and how it's being explained and connected the dots from A to B to C to D to E? What if they're like, it's a little like, I don't know, like I'm gonna use a German word, Drow. Like it's just like almost like a little spiky, like, and it doesn't feel as good. But hey, the message is the same. You guys see, like, I'm telling you what matters. What if I told you the only thing that matters is that you talk about what you believe in your way? Each and every one of you, whatever it is, right now, I want each and any one of you to discuss the things of, and think about it. Like, what would you guys talk about? Like, most of you would choose to talk about an industry, right? Remember what we said? It's the level 2, or like whatever you work at, or the storyline they crafted and molded for you. That's what most of you would choose to talk about. Is that a bad thing? You're talking. That's a great progress. I'm happy and proud of you. But you guys see, I'm like, no. Like, well, what? Like, if you could change anything, if you could create anything, if like you were, think like you guys were God today, and you could change anything, like, what would you talk about? What would you try to change? You're like, oh, I have no idea. I'm like, exactly. That's what we need to work on. Do you guys see? But well, I guess I'm going to talk about like, well, how to like change like the grocery stuff because I'm a grocery worker. I'm like, that's awesome that you're a grocery worker, but like, did you choose that? You guys see what I'm trying to talk about? You see, you start thinking about things differently. But I'm like, why are you going to talk about the grocery thing? Why is that your focus? Why is that what matters? Well, it's just that's my job. That's what I do every day. I'm like, you see, they are deciding what matters for you. They decide what matters for each and every one of you. Do you guys see how they can prevent change by just telling you what matters? If they chose your story for you and you can't change it, why can't you change it? What we said about level 1. Because you're required now to have those things that matter. If you don't have a bracelet, you're not streaming correctly. That's what matters. You need to have a bracelet if you stream. Oh, okay, so that's what matters. Do you understand? That means that now they can prevent any change in the streaming field because now you always will need a bracelet because something else installed into you that's what matters. I'm saying it doesn't. I'm saying it's just a variable. At no point, listen to what I'm saying here, guys. At no point am I arguing that if it helps or makes it worse, the result, how the information is consumed, how it's understood, if it improves the delivery or if it hurts it, I'm not talking about that at all. Because first of all, those are bonuses. Do we understand? What they do, if you guys really piece all this together, is that they try to make the things that matter bonuses. Hey, what matters is that you need to go on one fancy trip with your family a year. That's what matters in life. If any of you have traveled, and if you learn how to really travel, which is just exploring, not creating any have-tos for yourself, giving yourself an open freedom path to just walk however, and anything that presents itself, you don't respond. You just choose your own thing because you know how to create your own experience no matter where you go and what you do. I'm telling you, travel is incredible because you get to see a different world. You get to expand your bubble and break your limits, right? But you guys see, like, all of a sudden, what if I told you that that's what matters in life? Well, you need to make a lot. You need to make 7 figures, not even 6 figures. You need to make 7 figures. That's the storyline you need to reach. Doesn't matter when. If you reach it when you're 99, cool, you did it. You need to go on one fancy, amazing trip with your family a year because those are the things that matter. Remember, do you guys see? At no point am I grading them. At no point am I saying if they're good or negative. But I'm just saying those are what matter. What if I told you that from the day you're born? I start telling you every single day. And I don't only just tell you through the info that's presented to you. What if I start showing you? What if I present, like, I don't know, let's say you're an 8-year-old kid right now. You start seeing me. And I'm every time you see me, I'm like, hey, look at this. I have 7 figures in my bank account. And I just went on a nice trip. And you tell them that, and the 8-year-old kid is like, wow, and you're happy, and you have a beautiful model girl by your side in your arms, and you guys are actually legitimately happy. Like, I'm not just appearing externally. Let's just say you really are. At least to the kid, it seems that way. Then the kid talks to like their dad or their mom, and they're like, yeah, do you see that? That's what happens if you put in the effort to learn, if you work hard, you have work ethic, if you focus on going to a good school. That's what your life is. So do your homework, get good grades, and then get a good job, make the money, and you can get that. You're like, that's what I want. Yeah, that's so cool. Or maybe I invite that 8-year-old kid on a trip. I'm like, hey, come on a trip with me. And I asked her like their dad, or maybe I even invite their family. I'm like, hey, all of you guys, come on. And now they see it. And you guys understand what I'm trying to tell you is that they install this in us. The second variable of prevention, they tell us what matters. Each and every one of us, whatever it is. And until you see it, that they crafted it in us, they decided for us. Something decided for us what matters and what doesn't. You have to piece it together, the source from the beginning. You're like, why am I doing this storyline? Why am I trying this? Why am I doing this? Why does that matter? And once you piece it all together, you're like, oh my gosh, they install that in us. They determine that it matters. Does it? If at any point you don't have or do what the world considers or tells you is what matters, then you're doing it wrong. Are you? Why did they decide? Yet I'm saying, if you're letting something else decide for you, you can't even contemplate. You start using it as your voice. You start talking as if that is the answer. And yet I'm telling you, do you guys get, if you were a kid in a basement, locked in the basement and not exposed to any information growing up, or you were just born in a different country, you wouldn't value the same things. It's just that simple. That's really just how it is. It's what's presented to us repeatedly over and over again and reinforced and shown is what matters and told is what matters. That's it. That's how simple it is. And I'm saying, I'm not telling you that you guys can't ever think that those things are good, but you have to break free. Once you understand, wait a minute, they made me think that that's what matters. Once you come to that realization, you're like, okay, I need to destroy that. I'm telling you, I used to think that numbers, money, having a nice home, a nice car, like they installed that in me. They successfully had managed to do so. And I'm telling you guys, if you see the things that I talk about, you know that I fight against money. How is that possible that I went from this to you guys get it? Because I'm like, wait a minute, no, that's not actually what matters. Yet there's a point in my life that I did think so. And they did so through an external, because they told me that I can't get the girl if I don't have that. That's how they did it to me. I don't know how they do it to all of you guys necessarily, because it's not always the same play. But do you guys understand that they used a desire. They used the desire. And for me, it was getting the girl. And they're like, well, you won't get her if you don't have these things. And I'm not saying that but you also understand that the problem is that then the girls are told that those are what matter in guys, or vice versa. You guys see how it's this endless loop that's a web that's completely intertwined, and it's a completely genius play on their part to prevent any meaningful change. Because even if I disagree with it and I break free, and I'm like, it's not what matters. Do you guys understand that if I'm like, I tell a girl, I'm like, I don't believe in money and doing that climb anymore. If she still hasn't broken free and she thinks that is what matters, and she hears me say that, she's like, you're a fucking loser. Do we understand? And if that's something you care about or want again, do we see how they can prevent you from ever changing your opinion or what you would say based on that? And I'm telling you, for most of you, it's also through fear of punishment. They just have to make sure that you're like, well, I can't do something because if I do it, then I'm going to lose something else. I can't comment publicly on LinkedIn about my opinions or my experiences because if I do so, well, then I'm going to lose what matters, which is having a high paying job or being able to be hired or having savings so that I can be free later when I'm older. So I can't do that. So that's why I won't do it, because they told me those are the things that matter. And if I do this, I was shown that someone else got punished for it or mocked or laughed at. So I'm never going to do it. If they control what we believe matters, they can prevent any meaningful change because they can get your focus to be only about level 1 and level 2. So what's the third variable of prevention? Caring. This one is very intrinsically tied to the second one about what matters, right? Because we care about the things that matter. That's what we're led to believe. And that's correct, by the way. Like, people might be completely lost, but I'm like, that is correct. If something matters, we care about it. But now that you guys know that they can make us, they can choose, they can mold us, they can install in us to have our lens based on what's most repeated, what's recency, what's rewarded, what's punished, to determine what matters. That means they can fabricate what we care about. And I'm saying now that if they know, they learn our desires by, remember what we said, if you don't ever heal your issues that they made happen, I'm telling you, each one was made to happen. The problems that you have, the fears, the traumas, the insecurities, they made them happen. They made an event happen and they reinforced it. So you guys see, then, and it's closely tied to one of you, a desire that you have. And it's usually how they prevented your desire, right? And then they blocked it. And they made sure that there's countless blockades that prevent you from reaching your storyline, your desire. So that's why you guys can never do it. You can never get there. It's out of reach, but now you're told that it matters and you care about it. So then, but also remember, you're never going to put in the work to heal because you don't have time, because then you're focused on your work thing. But you can never actually, you care so much about it, but you can never get there. And if you do, you can never actually properly accomplish anything. Anyway, do you guys see, it's all focus, matter, and caring. They're all so intertwined. Like it's all weaved together. It's all tied together. By determining your focus, installing into you what matters, they can then they know exactly, they created your desires, and then they put them out of reach. You care about them, but you can't reach them. So you don't take any risks because you don't want to lose what matters. So just by making you care about it, they can prevent you from doing, from changing. Yet, what if you cared about results? What if you cared about meaningful impact? What if you, like, let's say you heal those things and you feed those things? Like I said, I don't have those focuses. I don't have to worry about those things. And I can help you, each and every one of you, heal anything very quickly, by the way. It's not a long process, but it needs, you have to put an effort. You have to dedicate yourself to it. You have to focus on it. You have to destroy it quickly. And then you're free. Doesn't mean that you're not going to get reminded of it. That's always going to happen. But now you know how to fight back. And now you know it's a lie. Now you know it's wrong. So I'm telling you guys, they weaponize caring, because if they can't control you, they can't prevent change through your focus. Like if you heal yourself, do you guys understand? Or if you break your storyline that they fabricated for you, that they chose for you, And if you're not dating a girl right now, do you guys understand? Your focus is completely free. You can then dedicate yourself to whatever you want, whatever you want to evolve, whatever you want to explore, whatever path you want to do, whatever story you want to do. Then, if you know how to limit info, if you know how to get quiet, right? So really, I would just say is like, just make sure you prevent the things getting to you. We're not going to get lost here, but I just want people to understand, like, you block as much information as you can, and you reconsume your own stuff that you're creating, that you're talking about, you're going to realize, like, remember what I said, like, we're getting quiet, we're not focusing on many things. You can then explore that path. All of a sudden, you're not letting something else tell you what matters. You're deciding. So what are they going to then do? Because that means that the two variables of prevention, the first two that work on 99% of people, don't work on you anymore, because you are deciding what matters, what your storyline is, and you have a free focus or multiple. So what is their play? They make you care about something. And caring is good. Caring is good because it gives us a reason. It's tied to purpose. It gives us a reason to wake up every day and to fight, to try a little more, to be like, you know what? This is why I'm going to do this. Those are good things. But here's the problem. What if you need that? You need that reason. You need that purpose. What if that's taken from you? The things you care about, what if those things are taken from you or they're prevented? Most of us then get stuck. Most of us then get lost. Like, what if they made you care about having the largest company because they tied it to what matters, because then you can then improve your village. You care about your village, your hometown, the small German town. But they made you think that that's what matters, right? Population, money. So then you care about changing that. But what if, as you're trying, they make sure that no matter what you do, you can't succeed in changing. You can change every other town, every other city, every other area, but you can't change your small German town. They refuse, they rebel, they fight, there's a conflict every single time you try, you know? You guys see, like, if your goal is like, hey, I want to like help my family, or I want to like do that, like, all they have to do is they just have to prevent the things that you care about, that you have attachment to. It's usually how they do it, through attachment. And then they can prevent any meaningful change. Because then you're going to be focused on the ones and twos, like, oh, I need something overt now, like, because then if nothing is happening, right, then the more nothing happens, the more we seek some kind of progress metric to showcase to us that our efforts are not in vain, that there's something happening. That I challenge all of you to think about this. The more time that goes on and there's no change, you're like, oh, I mean, for any of you who have ever gained some weight, think about it like this. I'm telling you, don't ever focus on the number. Don't focus on the scale, right? Because that's the bait. But what if, like, you still were like, well, I can't really tell if I look different. So then you're like, well, how do like my clothes feel? Maybe like a belt size or like something like that. Or you guys understand? But what if you still didn't see that? Like, and there's nothing. You're like, I've been dieting and exercising and doing all this stuff for like a month and there's no change. You're going to seek anything. What if all of a sudden, like, a girl tells you once, like, oh, did you lose some weight? Now you might seek that over and over again to confirm that there's a change. So if no girl ever tells you, like, hey, you lost weight or you look good, you might think that you aren't. Do we understand how they do it? They made you care about that. And then that's now a lever to control you or to prevent actual change. Because if they keep that out of reach from each and every one of you, because now you care about that, that's important to you, it matters, and now it's a focus. You guys see how they're all connected? They build up on each other. Well, then you're going to think that there's no change. And I'm saying, is there or is there not? Overt results are different than success. And success does not equal change. Because remember, now you guys understand, they make you focus on it. They tell you it's what matters, and then they make you care. And then they say that's what determines if it's a change or if it's success. And they always tie it to the level 1 and the level 2. The bracelet and the change agent, the industry, if you're modifying that, and then things that are superficial, things that you can see, things that you can grade. That's how they do it. And I'm telling you, keep that out of reach. Now that they told you, they made you care about something, they kept it out of reach, well, then there's never going to be change, because now you have to do the things that you care about. You need it. You're reliant on it. You have to, because they made you care. If you don't have that, do you guys understand? For myself, the one that I still battle, and it's a tug of war. It's caring about all of you that I know are enslaved, that don't understand all this knowledge and do what they want, and they control all of you, and it frustrates me to no end. First of all, because I want this world to be different, and I want to achieve my stories, but I also just want this. It doesn't have to be this way, because I see the vision. I know the answers. Do you guys understand? And so, since they can't control me through 1 and 2, they made me care about giving the answers and making sure that all of you actually break free. They made me care about that. They made me care that all of you break free, because I'm like, I have all the answers. Just watch my stuff. I'm telling you guys, and then comment. I'll explain it to you. I'll prompt you. We'll have a conversation back and forth. I promise you, I can heal you within 3, 4, 5 days. Everything. And then you never have to talk to me again. And I'm not asking for anything, not even a single cent, even though, right, there's so many problems that have happened in my life that I could have asked for help from things, and I'm not going to. Do you guys get it? And it all happened because I help people. So I now just care for results, actual change. But I know the root, right? That's what I'm saying. I want you guys to understand how they actually do it. So I'm focused on level 3, and you guys understand that when you get to this level, I'm focused on level 3. The only tool and weapon that they still have is to try to make you care. And there's days that I don't, and then there's days that they start getting me to. It's as simple as I just have to play a video game that I Final Fantasy, and I heal people in it. I do like these group activities, and I usually keep to myself. But do you guys understand? All they have to do is make me talk to, someone talks to me or ask me a question, maybe ask for some help or an explanation or something, and then I can start caring even 1%. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to tell you? Is that if they can't prevent change, they can make you care about something and then keep that away from you. Like, you want people to have the answers. You care about that because you know it actually is going to help and solve things. We're going to make sure you never get that. It's not easy. And that can prevent change too, just so you guys know. Because then, what are you going to be more inclined to do? Then I'm going to create things. Hear what I'm saying? It changes my path. Then I'm going to create things that I believe are the answer. They are. But do you guys understand? Now I'm creating for the people. I'm creating for the answer. I'm not creating just to create, not for myself, just to explore. I'm now creating based on a mold. And I'm not saying that that's exactly what they want, but do you guys see? It's much more confined. It's much more boxed in. It's in a circle. They're now building a wall around it rather than I'm just paving my own path. It gets complicated. All right. We're going to take a 1-minute break here, and we're going to talk about the 2 baits in life. And grab more water. All right, here we go. Final push. 30 seconds warming up my coffee. Let's get started. This part, I'm going to do a little more relaxed. I've been relaxed, but we're going to go one level lower. All right, let's do this. Here we go. Whoever's listening, how do you grade yourself? Do you? We all do in some way. Until we break free. For myself, even after having broken free, I grade myself if just today I walked my own path. If today I didn't have as many poison reminders pop up, if I could counter and deviate and get positive and do my own thing and create limits for myself, choose to walk them or not. And if I did choose to break any self-intentional limits, I know why. I didn't just do it because. I didn't get baited by anything. I like you guys see, like it's not. Those some people are like, "Whoa, what? That's how you?" Yeah, I'm different. I got molded to this way, right? Based on the experiences that I've had. So I use the word bait because if you guys think about it, there's in life there are a lot of things in this world that bait us to walk a certain direction. Today, we're not going to talk about why, because the theme of today is that they want to prevent change. So that's what we're going to leave it at, right? That's why. There's more to it, but I'm gonna stop there because I want to focus on something else today. So one of the baits that is extremely problematic in our life is it changes our perception about anything. And people are like, why is that a bad thing? I'm like, well, I think we can all think about it logically why it could be a bad thing. If I change your perception to think that maybe you're like, hey, you're not good at streaming, you're not good at explaining things. You do like you took a break, you went into the bathroom and like you warmed up coffee and you got water in the middle of a stream and you didn't like mute your microphone. Like, what's with you? That's not good. No, it's not. Remember we talked about that before, right? The focus, what matters, what we care about, the level 1 and the 2. But you guys see, like, it could change my perception about myself and like who I am. Like, someone's telling me who I am. That's also how they install our problems, right? Do you guys hear what I'm trying to say? That's how they do it. They tell you who you are. Someone suggests things to you. That is the bait, just so all of you understand. That's how they poison all of you. They suggest things. Suggestions. They catch it. They're just, you're like, wow, who talks through suggestions? I'm telling you guys, it's not normal. It's intentional. So we can all start piecing together like, wait a minute, yeah, if someone changes our perception of ourselves, because that's actually why most of us consider ourselves to have the worth that we do and why we view ourselves on the hierarchy level that we do, because regardless of what you guys say, I know it's true. You guys all have a hierarchy system that you use. What you use is based on what's been installed in you. I mean, if we're in Africa or like in a tribe like that, it might just be like who's killed the most raptors. Do you guys understand? Like that's what determines your worth, your hierarchy. And another place it could be like, hey, do you have a girl? Do you have money? Do you have a car? Do you have a home? Do you have a pool? And do you have a vacation home? Other people be like, that doesn't matter. It's about if you have how many number of kids you have. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to tell you? Each place can have different things. Each subculture, each neighborhood, like we could get lost there. But do you guys see how through suggestions and through people around us and through the info that we consume that's repeatedly presented to us, they can start changing our perception of ourselves. It can start making us think that we're not good. If you change your environment and all of a sudden, like if you guys spend time with me, I'm telling you that I'm going to make you believe that you're better than whatever you currently think. Doesn't matter. I'm telling you, even if you're completely obsessed and consumed and care and think the only thing that matters is money and the climb and the external, I'll not only snap you out of it, but I'll make you realize that that's not the case and they made you that way and that there's other things that you care about that you're really good at that you should. There's other things that you need to climb and you need to progress and you need to learn and decipher and consider and break your bubble and realize there's more to the world, but we'll get there. But you're really good at things, but you're not doing your story right now that you should be doing, but you'll get there. I can't wait to see what you can create and what you can teach and what you can change once you break free. And imagine if like I just keep inserting that into you. Not because it's a lie, but because it's real. It's just they made you have a different perception. They made you see things differently. They changed your lens about the world, but they also changed the lens about yourself. So we view ourselves with a foggy lens. We're poisoned. You guys understand? We actually get poisoned. We get corrupted. We don't see ourselves in the same light. So when that happens, everything changes. Do you guys understand? Like that one's easy to understand, but we don't realize that that's actually what they did to us. Each and every one of us got poisoned. And today, if you don't know this knowledge, then you are still poisoned. If you can't do anything, one thing, doesn't matter what it is, do you guys understand? They poisoned us. They created fear events, punishments, situations like that. They prevent us. They created what I call a chain. Chain is something through like an insecurity, a fear event, a trauma that they made happen, a problem. And then it's something based on your desire, you lose. Then they create a lock on that chain to make sure that you can never break the chain. So then you're shackled. And the lock is, I call them decoy insecurities, but essentially they're things that prevent us from disproving or healing whatever is the chain. So if I'm saying you care too much about what people think because you got laughed at by the one girl that you wanted to date, and since then you've been insecure about that, so you'll never ever comment something that goes against what is popular. You understand that then they could create a decoy insecurities that, hey, more girls laughed at the way you write essays or stories. Like every time you wrote something in school, you always had to trade papers with a girl and they always laughed at you. Do you guys understand? It could be something as simple as that. Then they created a decoy insecurity. What's a decoy insecurity? It blocks healing the main one. All right. And these are the things that I talk about in depth in my other videos and streams. So check them out. Star Diplomat. But do we guys understand that they change our perception of ourselves? It's something that they do. That's how they prevent actual change in this world. Because if you can make someone believe that there's something that they're not, and you can rearrange them, and you can also just poison them to make them not be able to perform to the level that they can because they just think they're less than now, because now they care about other things. They think other things are what matter. They have to do those things. They care about the level 1 and 2. They don't even conceptualize the root. Now their perception is completely distorted. Everything they view through a foggy lens, it's all broken. They're broken, but they don't even see it. Do you guys understand? They don't even understand. They don't understand why they feel that way because they get just constantly reminded of it everywhere they look. I'm just saying, just so you guys know, we've talked about they're spiritual entities, but if they choose to, If you have deviated and destroyed all your stories and you're breaking free, if they choose to, they can make it happen where all you see is one thing. This is the most brutal, evil play that they can do to any single person. Because not only, one thing is if they change your lens, right? Like if I just keep inserting into you, like, hey guys, you don't need money, you don't need money, you don't need money, you don't need to consider other alternatives. You can do this. You got this. And I say that to you guys. You can believe. Do you guys understand? Like you will believe there's other ways other than money. But what if I don't? I'm going to stop here actually, because I don't want to get people to get consumed. But I just wanted people to truly understand. They change our perception. They change our perception about ourselves. They change our perception about ourselves, each and every one of us. Doesn't matter who we are. So if they break you, you don't even understand, right, how you got there. You can't perform to the same way. You can't accomplish the same things. What if, and I'm not saying that, right? Something else is. You just feel like you can't because now you put yourself on a lower level and you put other things on a higher level. And usually it's what we're told matters, right? The bracelet. So for many of you, like an Instagram influencer or something of that nature, right? You think that's what matters. That's what you compare yourself to. So what if, like on LinkedIn or YouTube, they release a video or a post, and then you comment on it, and you just be like, "I agree with this. This is the way." Is that necessarily bad? Debatable. I'm saying it's a perception bait. First, they destroy you. They make you view yourself differently, and then they create scenarios and situations that make you feel like you did or are doing. Because now, then your perception is like, I did something. I'm causing change. I'm helping. Now, you could be like, well, isn't that better than not doing anything? Debatable. Because let's discuss the danger of it. If I feel like I did something, I challenge all of you to argue this and debate this. We start what we call a path of belief. A path of belief protects us temporarily. It makes us focused on it. You hear all the talk about focus, right? It makes us feel better. It's like we did something, especially if they remember if what they do is they lower us, right? They made us think we're less than. And I'm not saying, and we don't even realize how it happens. It happens slowly. And they keep destroying us and we just don't succeed, or we start succeeding less, we start having problems. So then if we feel like we did something, if right now, if I told you the only way I feel like I do something, I'm not saying this is true, but I'm just giving you guys an extreme example to communicate my message. That the only way I can feel like I did something is if I do a 4-hour stream. If I do 3 hours, I didn't do anything. Well, you're like, holy crap, I can't even stream for 1 minute. I'm afraid to. I can't, right? Because we talked about the chain and the lock. There's something that's stopping you from doing that. What is it? Right? What did they install in you? They lowered your perception of yourself without you even realizing. And then they told you what matters, what you care about, right? What your focus is, all that stuff, okay? So imagine if I told you that is what it's doing. 4-hour stream. Anything less is not doing. Well, then now you're always going to compare yourself to that. Because if they installed in you that whoever I am, whatever I have, whatever metrics I have, the success criteria that you can see from who I am is what matters, then now you consider myself an expert. You trust my voice. You believe who I am. I'm just trying to get all of you to a point where you can just listen and hear what's being said, get the underlying lessons, try to understand everything that's actually happening here, not just exactly what I'm saying, but the whole big picture, how I'm explaining all of this, how I prevent change, so that we can learn how to actually break free and change. But Mike, imagine if you trusted, based on what they install in you, you're like, Shepherd Star, diplomat, the Dark Knight is who we should listen to and what we should listen to. And you see how I do it and what I do. And now you compare yourself to that and you just can't do it. And then they lowered your perception of yourself to believe that maybe you're not a good public speaker, you're not a good streamer, you're not good on video, you're not good on camera. So you can't do this. So it means that you guys understand that you're always going to put me on a level above you, no matter what. So then, what if they made it so that if you comment on my stuff and just say, this is great, this is so good, these are the answers, we're changing the world, guys. Comment, just say, I agree in the comments. And we're going to change the world. And you do that. Like, I agree. We're changing the world. Go Shepherd Star Army. We are the lambs who are now becoming lions. Now you feel like you're actually doing. Are you? Have you? Is that necessarily a bad thing? You're someone who maybe has lower self-esteem, whose perception got destroyed of themselves without them even realizing they slowly did that to you. And they're doing it through those people, right, that you guys worship. Do you guys understand? There's other things, other people and other things around you, but they primarily do it initially by something that they install into you as like the expert. And then if you don't have that, or you can't have those metrics, you guys get it. They did it to everyone, every single person, by the way. And for many of us, it was just our dad growing up. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? Everyone. So then you think you're doing. Just from something like that. You commented, hey, we're changing the world. Now, I feel like I am changing the world. Are we? Now, you're like, hey, why would you attack this person who's actually commenting? They have such low self-esteem. Their perception is ruined. They don't even realize that's the problem. Like that their perception is faulty from the self. Their wiring got destroyed. They don't view themselves correctly. Why would we attack that? Why would we we should be supporting those people, we should be helping them. Like, we have to do this to make them realize that they're keeping themselves stuck by doing this. By you guys giving up all your worth to these people and just agreeing with them and not challenging them and just preaching what they preach like that. Do you guys understand that you create a sense of satisfaction for yourself where you feel like you actually did something? It's the danger of reading something, starting a path. If you guys watch this entire video, do you guys understand that this entire stream, you're on a path, a journey, and it's incredible. You should rewatch it and take notes and see how much you develop and how much you learn and what makes you question and what you're piecing together. And I'm proud of you, and you should reinterpret it and try to figure it out for yourself and then create something from it. And I can't wait to see who you become. You're going to become who you've always were meant to be. And I'm so proud of you. You're amazing. You're incredible. You got this. Well, now you feel a little different. And you're like, yeah. And like, if you agree, like, hey, write in the comments, like, I'm breaking free. I got this. And you do that. We're going to change the world one step at a time. Every person's breaking free. Yeah. Well, now all of you feel like you did something. And I'm not saying that writing a comment is nothing. You guys understand? There's people that can't even write a comment. They're so chained. They're so destroyed. They're so afraid. They're so molded that they can't even do that because they're worried about what could be, because that's what God installed in them. But do you guys see the people who can write the comment, but they're doing it, giving up all their agency, saying that this other person is right and they're good and they're not, they can't share their own opinions anymore. I'm not at least like reinterpret it, but I'm saying they just parrot it. They just agree. And the reason why they do so, and I challenge each of you, I'm sorry, some of you are going to get offended right now, but I challenge you. The reason why you do so, or anyone you see doing it, is because it gives them the feeling of doing. Do you understand, guys, that even if I don't change anything, if I write a post today on LinkedIn or make a short little video on YouTube, I feel, hear what I'm saying? I feel like I'm changing something. It really, someone might watch it and completely change their life. They might break free. It's possible. Yet I'm saying that when I'm doing it, I feel different. I feel like I changed something. I still changed my own recency. I cleansed the poison they put into me. Since I'm reconsuming my own information, I'm doing my own thing. I'm self-brainwashing myself for positive, right? I'm getting rid of all their indoctrination that they put inside of me. And I'm putting my own stuff in there because I'm creating. But you guys see, like, I'm doing my own thing. I'm creating. And I'm still saying there's still danger there. Yet most of you are literally just parroting a comment. Just something like, yeah, I agree, we're doing. So then you feel like you're doing. But I'm saying I am actually doing something. I'm creating something. And I'm still telling you guys that's not enough. Because if you feel like you're doing, you might legitimately believe that you're causing change. Are you? What if I made you believe that you are? You found what works. Seems to get the job done. People respond to it. It seems like it's helping people. It appears that it's helping people. It appears that it's causing change. And remember, then we tie it to like what we focus on, what we care about, what matters, the level 1, the level 2, the change agent, maybe the industry itself. An article gets released that something is changing or they're considering something, or maybe we get a reward, an external, some bracelets for our stream. What if actually nothing changed? But we felt like something changed. Now we don't explore anymore. Now we don't try a new path. Now we don't do anything different, because why would we? We figured it out. We know the best way now. And people respond to things. Progress is being made. Do you guys understand that if they can bait you, they lower your perception, then they can put the success metric, the win criteria, such a low bar for you. As simple as just remember, really, we operate based on how we feel. And they make you feel like you did something. They make you feel good temporarily, because it is still a positive. Do you guys understand? I'm proud of you that you can comment and that you're consuming things that could get you on a more positive path, especially if they've hurt you or made you think you're less than, because you're not. You have unlimited potential. Each and every one of us do. But we have to get rid of all the poison they put in us first, and that's what I'm trying to do for you. Well, it's a bait. Do you guys understand? Because then you're not going to do anymore. Because you already think that you did. You're going to start justifying. You're like, well, you know what? Today, I'm going to buy, I don't know, some like an expensive cheese, or today I'm gonna get myself I'm gonna buy a movie or a video game or a trip, or I'm just going to like I'm gonna go to sleep earlier today, or because well you did, you accomplished, you caused some change, right? Do you guys understand what I'm trying to show you? Is that one of their ways to prevent actual change from ever occurring is they bait people to think that they're doing by making it feel like they are. Lower their perception, and then they make it think that it seems like they're making a change. And yet they're not, because they're not questioning, they're not trying to deviate, they're not trying to explore, they're not doing, they're just agreeing. They're keeping the status quo as is. Do you guys understand? If you keep the status quo as is, you're not causing change. It doesn't matter what it is. You understand? If it's being pushed right now to an extreme level, that's not change, guys. That's the bait. And if you're just agreeing with it, it's not change, guys. That's the bait. Change requires progress, which requires disruption and destruction of the old. That means that if you got baited to agree with something and you don't question things and it makes you feel like you did and you don't do anymore, do you guys see how they can stop you from ever doing or trying to cause change? They do this to every single person. They change our perception. We deem something else as an answer, or they maybe know more. We view things as the expert. And now think about it with AI, guys. Each and every one of us, well, most of us, now let it create for us because we think it's better than our own work, which is not. You need to do your own thing. But I'm saying if you guys comment, and I'm telling you, just by doing some comments, you feel like it is. And I'm not saying that it can't have impact, but when it creates that feeling, the path of belief is the most dangerous thing that can happen, because then they can move you around as they see fit, because they're like, you're doing it. And I'm like, am I? Why am I satisfied with just feeling like I am? No, we got to keep going. We got to do more. We got to keep exploring. We got to keep trying to push. We got to keep trying to figure out new ways. We got to keep trying to evolve. We got to keep trying to add more limits, more challenges, more self-created things. And once in a while, yeah, we can take a little break and see how we're now. Can we go back and add in a little easier and see how we progress? And then, okay, now go. You guys get it? But instead, most of us, we give up our agency. We feel like we're doing. They make us feel like we're doing, but we're not. They just have to make it appear as we are. You guys feel that way. Yet they're using you to maintain the status quo. And since now you don't question, and instead you reinforce and you defend the status quo, they lowered your perception, they made you believe in them. Anyone who does question, you're going to attack. This I call the perception bait. Think about that one, guys. So what's the other one? I call it the progress bait, the grade scale. When I say grades, we all naturally think about school, and we're going to start there. Do you guys know that in Latin American countries, they use a number system rather than a letter system? Like in Mexico, they use a 1 to a 10. In Ecuador, they use between a 0, 1 to a 20. And it's an equivalent of F to A plus. Do you guys see, like, a grading scale is arbitrary. A grading scale is based on whoever created it. I need you guys to hear what I just said. A grading scale is based on whoever created it. What does that mean? It means that if I want to prevent any change from happening in anything, I just have to create a grading scale. Because who grades? Whoever created the grading scale. What if I am designated as the official grader of streams and videos in the entire world? Okay. And I'm telling you, bracelets are what matter. All right, so I'm going to watch your stream and videos, guys. If you don't have a bracelet, you get a 10 out of 20. Wait, why are we doing numbers? Oh, okay. You get a C instead of an A+. Like, why are we doing letters? Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? If I am the one who creates the grading scale, if I'm the one who's determined because I lowered everyone else's perception, and I'm the one who's now deemed as the expert, and then you get a whole army of reinforcement people that don't value themselves, that say that I'm correct, that I'm the expert. Now I am the one who gets to determine the grade. I choose if it's a success or a failure. I'm in charge. That means that I can prevent any change that I don't want. The moment, if someone else creates a stream or a video, and I'm like, ooh, shit, that person knows things that I don't. They figured something out that I don't. I can just attack it. I'm like, anyone who goes to the bathroom on stream and can drink, like warm up a coffee and stream and just take a water, not mute their microphone, is a bad streamer or a bad video person. They don't know how to edit. Yeah, bad video. 0, 1 out of 10, 20. F. Wait, what? Yeah, that's my grade. I choose. Don't you guys know? I have an army of people that reinforce what I say. How I make them feel like they're doing by just typing I agree in my comments. I call that the progress bait. None of you even thought, like, this is why you guys understand grades are worthless. That one they did get right. Grades are fucking worthless in everything, guys. Yet the only value they have is that they can help us communicate progress when we don't understand how to measure that yet. Because remember what I said, guys, like, what matters? If I tell you that bracelets and lighting matter, you might think so. Like, remember what we said about the 6 mug versus the 12 mug? Why can I do better with the 6 than the 12? Technically, you're doing worse progress, right? Like, you're going to get a worse grade on paper, but wait, you actually did better. Like, it flowed better. But what if we like base it on speed? That means you're always going to do worse with the 6 than the 12. But what if speed doesn't matter? What if it's like the feel? What if it's like how it flows? Or what if it's like if people actually got the answers or not? So that means if you ever use the 6, you're doing it wrong. What if it taught you new things? Do we understand what I'm trying to tell you? Like, if I grade it, if I say that that's a failing grade, if you do use the 6 mug instead of the 12 mug, that means that anyone who uses the 6 fails. Could I prevent change and evolution by saying, if you use a 6 mug, you're bad. You have to use a 12 mug. What if using the 6 mug is what lets you learn new things, consider different approaches to disrupt so that everyone can get better and learn new things and improve? But no one is going to try using the 6 because we created the person who's now the grader, okay? Who creates the grading scale, the teacher, the whatever, right? Think about it in school. They're the one who decides if your essay gets a good grade. So now they're the grader. That means that they decide what's good and what's bad. And why do they decide? Because the students are giving them the agency. The students are saying, giving them the hierarchy. When we were a kid, we don't have a choice. We don't understand this yet. But I'm saying each one of us as adults can choose who we give our hierarchy and our agency to. And my answer for all of you, which is not debatable, by the way, is that we don't give it to anyone. We're all equal, each and every single one of us. That means not any one person can grade. We all grade together. It doesn't matter. Yet I'm saying the way the world operates today is not the case. Each and every one of you give up your agency and you give up, let someone else be the grader. Doesn't matter if it's your sister, your mom, your dad, your boss, your friends, your coworkers, a social media influencer, God, spirits, it doesn't matter. Each and every one of you, I swear, if you identify it in your life, you give up your hierarchy and your agency to something. And if you're someone who is the greater, well, guess what? Of course, you're not going to. You're again, I promise you, you're preventing other people from having a say because you don't want to lose your spot as the greater. So anyone that could be a threat to you, that is disrupting, you will find a way to prevent. There's a sense. So what's level 3, right? The root of life. There's things in this world that literally create people to become graders, to make sure that they will never allow other things to thrive because they don't want to lose what they have. And why would we? Like, especially think about it, if we suffered so much in our past, why would we want to lose if we finally are starting to win? Do you guys get it? All I have to do is make sure you lose for years, or maybe when you were a kid, build up that insecurity, that trauma, that feel of lacking something or not getting praise or not getting attention, not getting rewards. Then give you a success push. Now make it so that other people look up to you in something and you are now considered almost like an expert, regardless if you are or not. Do you guys understand? It doesn't matter if you know more or if you know less. All I'm saying, the only thing that matters, what they do is they lower other people's perception. They say this person has more. So then people now say that that person is the expert. That person is the hierarchy. That person is what matters. That person is what decides. That person is what grades. So now you all look up to them for the answer. What happens? Now, progress baits happen because since they just determine what actually is the path, there's no more evolution. There's no more exploration. There's no more possibility of change because if you don't do it their way, that's been figured out. I'm not saying that their way is bad. I'm not saying their way doesn't work. But do you guys get it? There's multiple ways to get to the same. Like, how do we get to the owl, guys? We're right here. Look where my fist is over here. How can we get to this owl? Which path are you going to choose? How are you going to get there? It doesn't matter what you do. I'm going to take a sip. You tell me. Think about it. How will you get this fist from here to the owl? What are you guys going to do? Some of you might go up here and like this. Some of you might have just been like, no, direct route, angle. Some of you are like, no, let's go like this, let's go like this, let's go like this. We all got to the owl. Yet I'm telling you, if I was the grader and I'm like, you have to go downward curve, like the Amazon symbol, delivery, because I'm delivering all of you. Wait, what? Anyway, so you have to do that to get to the owl. That is the answer. What if you don't? Then you're doing it wrong. But didn't I get? Nope. Do you guys see, like, you lower your perception. We put a grade, an external metric. We told you that focus on that. That's what matters. Care about that, right? Now, also remember, if you got installed into you in your past through the fabricated insecurity and trauma events that you're less than, you want to prove it wrong. Why wouldn't you, right? That's part of healing. But you realize, wait, that's how they control you. So then now you guys need to maintain. So if anything says, that's not how it's done, guys. We don't need to care about money. And you're saying, and what is giving you all of your perception, all of your worth, all of your value is money, because they told you that's what matters, that's what it cares about, that's the story. Do you understand that if anything in this world appears that tries to lower the worth and the value of money, as you're using it as your scapegoat, as your shield to cover up the fact that you haven't healed, to up the perception of yourself, do you understand that you're not going to let anything interfere with that or take that away? Do we understand how they have created a system by making us focus on level 1s and level 2s change agents, forces, requirements, that we never get to the root of it. Because now, even if all the other things that I'm saying that they use to prevent us, they have created a system where humanity itself, they don't even have, I'm saying that there's still something else. These spirits, these things that actually can put thoughts into our head to make us do when we feel fear or we're dark consumed. I'm saying they don't even have to do that for the most of us, because they have now created a system where humanity itself is preventing change and evolution. And now with tools that we're reliant on, do you understand? We're not even getting into reliance. We're not even giving our chance to explore anymore and create, because we're letting something else create for us, because now we deem that as the expert. But do you guys get it? We have now created a system where we are preventing our human race from, imagine if like animals were like, no, that's not how you swim, or that's not how you fly. Like a bird flies a little differently, and another bird's like, that's not how you fly. That's what we do as humans. Do you guys get it? We literally tell each other, that's not how you do it. And I'm not saying that a bird can't be like, hey, this is how I fly. What do you think? Like, that's interesting. I never thought you could fly that way. Let me try it. Well, it doesn't seem like it works as well for who I am, but it seems to work really well for you. Maybe could I figure out if there's anything that I could take from that? Yet all of you, they've created a system where we prevent anything from changing, because if the moment something could cause a change appears, what you're going to notice is that those who have all the variables that I talked about, the focus, they never healed, they were told what matters, they made certain things, they care about certain things based on like the insecurities, the locks, the chains. They get baited to feel like they're doing through certain actions. They have a grade scale that they use as a progress. They base it off of an external metric that determines their progress. For most of them, it's money. So the moment if anything threatens that, do you guys understand? Their go-to reaction is to attack and suppress. Because why would we risk anything that takes away from what makes us feel like we finally have control of the narrative? We finally are in a better spot. We finally are doing better, or maybe we finally got the girl, or maybe we finally are happy, or maybe we finally have a pet, or maybe we finally are changing our circumstances. It's been 3 horrible years. We finally want to change it. And now I'm starting to make money and my life is turning around. And this guy shows up and is trying to take away that. The enemy. And plus, the person that I listen to, the expert, the best person of marketing, the first person of sales, or whatever, tells me that this is what matters. And I see their life, and they post pictures of their beautiful wife, and they just went to a resort in Mexico, and I want to be like them. What does this guy have? He has nothing. He's probably lazy and doing. You guys hear what I'm saying? They don't even have to stop us. They don't even have to fabricate anything anymore. We stop ourselves at this point. Do you guys see how they prevent change? The perception bait into the progress bait. Because why? Think about it like this, guys. The info and the knowledge that I'm talking about in this stream, in this video, is the same no matter what. True or false? Doesn't matter who's grading. Doesn't matter what your perception is. It doesn't matter what your focus is. It doesn't matter what you were made to believe matters. It doesn't matter what you care about. It doesn't matter if you only can see level 1. Well, I'm worried about the bracelet. I'm worried about money. It doesn't matter if you're worried about level 2. I need to change the hiring industry. I need to change the banking industry. Or it doesn't matter if you focus on the root and the underlying of what's going on here. Every single person, but here's the problem. every single person that consumes this is the punchline. Every single person that consumes this is going to experience it differently. Yet I promise all of you, I'm not modifying the video or the stream before it reaches you. When you click on it, it's not being edited. It's not magically changing. I'm like, oh, a girl is doing it? Okay. Let's, I'm gonna have make my video like this so that you can see my chest. That doesn't happen. It's the same video, it's the same stream. No matter who you are, no matter what you are, no matter what you know, no matter what you've experienced, no matter what your grade is, no matter what your perception is. It's the same. The knowledge and the info in it is exactly the same. Yet, I promise each and every one of you that there is not a single person in this world, none, not even myself, that will ever experience this stream, this video, the same way. Unless we literally trap them in a room, the same, like 5 people, for like a year and only expose them to the same information nonstop. And even then, there's still going to be minor variations. Do you guys understand? What I'm trying to tell you is that we each experience something differently based on what's been repeated to us, what's been installed into us, what we've seen, the traumas they've installed in us, the positives they've created in us, our positives, our negatives, our poison, our happiness, our belief, our not. That's why when you guys give up all your agency to other people and you believe, you let them tell you what matters, and you don't question how you are doing the story you are doing today. I'm like, do you guys understand how wrong that is? Who am I to say that? I'm like, it's just wrong, because everything you experience is different than the person next to you. Everything, each and every single thing we experience is different. The same thing, the same movie, the same game, everything. Doesn't mean that there can't be some overlap and some similarities. Do you guys understand? Even if it's 1% different, it's still different. So when you let them tell you everything, and you don't challenge it, you don't explore it, you don't stress test it for yourself, you don't identify, you don't try to reinterpret it, you don't try to evolve, you don't try to explore and walk your own path based on it. Do you guys understand the danger? It prevents all evolution and all change that you guys have to do the stories that you guys are doing. They create our interpretation lens. That's really what it all comes down to, guys. All this stuff that I said is everything, by the way, everything. But really, if you want to summarize it in one thing, how do they prevent all change? They control so many things, but what is it actually? What is the main culprit? Our interpretation lens. It's not even our conditioning, not our fears and our desire. All those things were real. We talked about all that. It's our interpretation lens. There's some people that are going to listen to this and think that I'm attacking them. Then there's someone else that's literally going to use this to heal, break free, to believe, and to achieve things that they could never have achieved without, because they didn't think so, right? They got poisoned. They got installed that they're less than, yet they never were. And now they're like, wait a minute, I'm amazing. I'm like, yeah, you are. You got this. Go, 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 go. And they do, and they achieve. And they just needed this just to like connect the plug back in the right spot. Like, wait a minute. Why did I? No, all that is wrong. We got this. And they finally believe again. I'm like saying, I'm trying to make you guys realize, like, how is that possible that one person is going to be offended and feel attacked by this, and the other person's going to literally change their entire life, and then they're never going to listen to this again? They don't need to, and I don't need them to, and I don't need anything else in return. Just knowing that they're free and we're getting closer to actually changing the world, right? Because I said that's what matters. Think about it. I'm even saying that's what matters, right? That people are just free, that they can choose. Level 3. How is that possible? You guys get it? It's just based on the interpretation lens. Everything else matters, but if I set your interpretation lens to be like, actually, guys, Shepard Star, the Star Diplomat, the Dark Knight, he's bad. He's trying to cause problems. He's trying to take everything you've built, keep him down. I just have to keep installing that into you over and over again. You guys understand that anything I say then or you consume, you're going to take what other people are saying and be like, oh, well, oh, Shepard Star, nope. So all those other things are how they prevent change. But really, the biggest culprit behind everything, guys, is that they just create our interpretation lens. And that one, the reason why it's so dangerous is it's so quickly modified. Guys, the only reason why I'm doing this is because I want this world to be free again. I want us all to believe and remember who we are. We are each amazing. I don't want you to ever feel afraid or insecure again or less than. You're not. You're so good. You're so capable. You're so talented. And I'm tired of seeing you devalue yourself. Let today be the day that you remember how amazing you are. Break free. You're going to change your story. You have the pen. You are now in control of your narrative. You always were, but today you remembered. And now I can't wait to see what you're going to accomplish. And when you do, don't thank me. Just live, experience, create a great story for you and your family and anything else that you decide what matters in value. And just knowing that there's one more person that's not letting them choose our story, the story for us, and they're fighting, they're choosing for themselves. Even if they get suggestions now, they recognize, oh, I see they're suggesting it to me. That's actually not a bad idea. I'm going to choose to do that. I'm going to be so happy for you because that's how we actually change this world. That's the only reason why I'm fighting. I don't need anything in return. You got this. And what if I just kept saying that to you? I'm not saying that that's wrong or right, but that's why I'm doing this. Why did I put it here at the end again, guys? Because if I start every video and every stream telling you that, do you guys understand that I can make that be your interpretation lens? If every comment I write on LinkedIn, I add that in, I can make people believe that that's the case. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it is. It's what I'm trying, but you might disagree. Do you guys understand? You might consume my stuff. You might actually have watched this entire stream and be like, that's a lie. Everything you just said, that's not true. You're trying to hurt people. You're trying to cause problems. I'm like, okay, if that's what you think, that's fine. But you see, like, then you consumed it, you decided for yourself. But if I preemptively create your interpretation lens and tell you like someone's an enemy or someone's a problem or someone's a threat, do you guys understand that then you will think that that's the case if you have deemed that I'm the expert. I'm the one who determines the grading scale. Do you guys get it? Do you see how many things they can use to completely prevent change? If you're someone who they've identified as a risk or a threat that could cause change because they can make people question, they have all those things, but if even if suppression doesn't work, you understand, all they have to do is change people's interpretation lens. And then whenever they see your stuff, that's it. Now you guys know. Now you know how they prevent all change. They control what matters. They control what we care about. They control what we focus on. They've decided our story. They created a path. They reinforced it. They repeated it. They changed our interpretation lens. They made us think that this is what matters. They lowered our perception of ourselves, put something else that we thought was more. Doesn't matter what it is. And then we let other things decide for us. Doesn't matter what you guys think it is, whether it's spirits or people around you, or an institution or an entity, it doesn't matter, or an organization. Then they created two baits, the perception bait and the progress bait, by telling you what is an external metric. And they prevent you from seeing more because you can't identify different. You guys don't pay attention to differences. You always just walk the same paths. You don't explore anymore. So you're only focused on level 1 and level 2. Level 1, right? Remember we said something that's a force, something that's a resource, a requirement. And then the change agent, the industry. Hey, if I do defeat level 1, I'm going to focus on that. So you guys never actually get to the root. So now you guys see all the ways that they prevent change. Do you guys see why things don't change? In our life, our personal one, and the overall world narrative? So now we flip it. This is where we're again. So how do we make change? It's not easy because we have to realize it just doesn't matter, right? Like, I'm telling you guys, you get to a point where you just care so much once you get to level 3, because everything else, you defeated everything else, but now you care, right? Because you have the answers to get other people, but you can't. It just doesn't matter. If change happens, it happens. All we can do is spread our knowledge. They're going to stop us. They will. All we can do is what we're doing. It's not up to us anymore. Do you guys understand? We all want to cause change so badly. But now that you realize there's a million things that they do to prevent it, it can't be something that we care about at all. If you only do because you need change, then you're vulnerable. I'm telling you guys, I say that it's not easy, especially if you've experienced loss. I do now, regardless of change. I pray, I hope, it's my oath, it's my mission. It is. Even though like I lose it sometimes, it still is. Because otherwise, I couldn't do this. Do you guys get it? Because all I'm being shown now is that I'm not getting change for the answers, and the things that aren't the answer are. So now that you guys know, then I'm like, well, crap, there is no change then. But it just doesn't matter. Because you know what? They took away all my reasons. They hurt me really badly. They hurt all the things I care about. I lost everything. And I don't have anything to fight for anymore. I don't. I don't fight for myself anymore. And in some ways, that's really sad. It is. I should, but I can't. Because I lost the things that I cared about. And, well, like if I have a new girl and another kid and pets again and all that stuff, right? Like I would have something to care about and I have something to fight for. Yet, there's things I lost. When I first started this mission, I fought for revenge. That's why I did it. I wanted to get back at the things that destroyed everything in my life, that took it all. I needed to figure it out. And I'm telling you guys, I did. That's how I have all this knowledge now. That's why I can talk about it the way I do. But revenge isn't the answer. It does cause change, by the way, but it's not the answer. Neither is forgiving. And now I realize I just need to create a new world. A world that the things that were taken from me, things that I lost, that they would be happy and proud of, that they would experience life. That is what we need to create. And I'm telling you, I have created it for myself. And that means I won already. You guys understand? I won. But it's not enough. It means that I don't have to cause any more change. Nothing could change. Because now you guys know there's so much they can do to prevent it. If you need to change, they can just keep it from you. I'll never get all the change, right? But I already did it for myself, my world. I hope it spreads. I hope whoever's listening to this, that you've got the underlying lesson, and you're piecing it together now, how they do it. Don't let them tell you what matters. Keep fighting. But you can't let them make you care about change. This one's for myself. I can't get baited to care about change. I just can't. Because it's not up to us. If it happens, it happens. I'm going to have to re-listen to this. Do you guys understand? Because I'm going to forget. Because I want change to happen. But it's not up to us. So with that said, we got this. Each and every one of you. My answer? Because I'm curious what you guys' answer is now that you've heard this. What is your answer? Should we fight for change? Should we care about it? Is it possible to actually change the world? How do we know what matter? Like we shouldn't focus on level 1 and level 2? I'm saying we need to make it a game. People are like, but it's our life. I'm like, yeah, I know. Just make it a game. Don't take it seriously, even if it is serious, even if it's not a game. Have fun with it. Hope for the best. But no, it's not up to us anymore. We have all the answers. How many times do we have to prove it to ourselves? But we can't be reliant on change. If you just treat it as a game, you guys understand that whatever happens, happens. Like, oh, cool. Something happened today. Nice. Oh, nothing happened today. I guess they prevent the change. I guess that's the level today that we're playing in this game. Yeah. Now that you guys know all that you know, it's the hardest thing to do. Be free. Rewatch this. Take notes. Don't ever let them confine you. Don't ever let them build walls around you. Don't ever let them tell you what is change and what isn't. This is your story. Make it a good one. All right. And that's that. And I'll see you guys another time.